You get more, a whole lot more
of those #1 tastes you're crazy for. McDonald's Chicken McNuggets value packs got more of those #1 tastes. Big icy Coke, super-sized fries, 11 McNuggets for a limited time. It's so fine, the price is low. Better hurry though. It's a good time.
One more time.
11 McNuggets, large Coke, more fries. The value pack more than satisfies. For the great taste of McDonald's value pack.
It's just how you feel when you know it's for real. It's a hit, it's a Coke, Coke is it. It is me, it is you, it's a sigh, it's a roar, a taste that's true, more than ever before. It's the secret to share. It's taking a girl. It's a hit, it's a hit, it's a Coke, Coke is it.
She was a fugitive to the police,
Won't anybody help
a sensation to the media,
What are we running for?
and a symbol of courage to young people everywhere to fight for what's right.
Where is she? Everywhere.
The Legend of Billie Jean, directed by Matthew Robbins, featuring Pat Benatar's hit song Invincible, rated PG-13. Starts Friday at a theater near you.
It's a world of different places. It's a world of shining faces. A world where kids should have some fun. Moms understand. Wherever M&Ms and kids go, there's no chocolate mess, 'cause moms know the milk chocolate melts in your mouth, not in your hand. All the world loves M&Ms. Pure milk chocolate joy in a candy shell for everyone.
M&M's chocolate candies. The milk chocolate melts in your mouth, not in your hand.
Could I please have the attention of anybody who still hasn't switched to Burger King? We didn't want to resort to this, but you leave us no choice.
Presenting the ultimate weapon.
We hope it won't be necessary to do this again.
Say, where'd you get this Dodge Ram van?
Pete Ellis Dodge, Pete Ellis Dodge.
And what do you get on this Dodge Ram van?
You get a sofa bed and snack tray, carpeting and paneling, captain's chair, engine cover, custom paint, chrome wheels, weather and flares.
And where'd you get a price like that?
Pete Ellis Dodge.
And that's the truth.
Pete Ellis Dodge, 1095 West El Camino Rio, Sunnyvale.
When fall is here, each Wednesday evening, going undercover in a bold new way. We're investigating some explosive leads to blow the blues away.
Who are you? Betty Crocker?
Nick's the hot shot and the rider. Mac's a lover and a fighter. They're together, the insiders. They keep the heat on all the time. There's lots of action here for me.
On ABC,
You'll love it.
just you and me. You'll love it. On ABC, you'll love it.
When people heard that Burger King changed the Whopper, response was overwhelming.
I like the Whopper the way it was, fool.
But then people found out that the new Whopper is bigger than ever.
What do you mean, bigger?
More beef than Big Mac, more beef than Wendy's single.
More beef?
And then they heard how the new Whopper beat them both for best taste.
Better taste?
And when they finally tried the new Whopper, they could hardly contain themselves.
It's not bad.
In 1914, an Isuzu demonstrated its speed by racing a horse. Unfortunately, the horse won. Today, the Impulse is one of the fastest GT cars in the world. Its turbocharger is made by the people who build them for the Indianapolis 500. Isuzu. In 1914, we lost the first car race in Japan. Today, we're getting even.
When it's time for fun, we know just where
the truth, Sam. Does Reynolds plastic wrap really cling better than the leading brand?
Watch this. Reynolds plastic wrap and the leading brand.
Oh, the Reynolds holds its shape better.
That's the secret to Reynolds' super tight cling. But here's the real test. Wrap 2 pieces of cheese, wait 5 minutes, and see for yourself.
Seeing is believing, Sam.
Remember, for better cling, use Reynolds quality plastic wrap, the plastic wrap professionals use.
You tell her. We'll tell her. Mrs. Butterworth, we think you're very, very good.
Why, thank you, girls. That's because I'm very, very thick and rich. When you pour Mrs. Butterworth over a stack of pancakes, she takes her own sweet time. I'm thick and rich.
Sure are.
Made with grade A butter, too. Coming from the 2 of you, that's twice as nice.
Strips of bacon, that's Denny's Million Fried Chicken. Denny's American Kitchen, it's a celebration. Chicken and biscuits, melon fry, and good old jambalaya.
Try Denny's American Kitchen dinners and get dessert free.
You'll find Denny's in your town, cooking dinner from all.
Denny's, cooking the way America eats.
An exclusive interview with Leonard Lake's mother tonight at 11.
Will not be seen tonight, but he'll be back soon.
He doesn't work anymore. He just plays.
Now stay tuned for some rock and roll summer action.
It's rock and roll summer action. With your host, Christopher Atkins. Special guest, Kim Carnes. X. Paul Revere and the Raiders. Comedian Tom Sharp. And the Summer Action Dancers. Also, a special look back at Marvin Gaye. And now, the host of Rock and Roll Summer Action, Christopher Atkins.
Well, hi. What kept you? We were just wondering when you're going to show up.
My thing for tanning is just pure baby oil, just to fry in the sun. Because I don't like suntan lotion and stuff. It's all icky. So oil just makes you burn. That's the best way to get a tan.
Just the lotion with vitamin E, and keeps the moisture in your skin, and then you don't have to worry about really crisping your skin, and you try to keep it as healthy as you can and look good.
Oh, I got my tan in the tanning salon in the Bronx.
We'll be right back with Paul Revere and the Raiders. A look back at Marvin Gaye and a whole lot more rock and roll summer action.
Cupertino. Next week on TV 36, it's Comedy Week.
I got 2 of the biggest hits in show business.
Yeah, well, you certainly made a believer out of me.
I got a problem. What?
Oh, you're a gay.
Watch Comedy Week all next week at 8, or The Joke's on You.
Well, what do you say to a little bridge? Not for us, then.
Next, Hollywood's most outspoken women join Barbara Walters for a candid look at their lives.
I always had this feeling that I was locked behind my face.
Esther Williams, Sally Field, and Jane Fonda.
I don't think I really understood what being a revolutionary meant. How could I?
The Barbara Walters Summer Special next.
I'm not ready to go yet, okay? I'm not ready. You gotta wait. I got shit to do. I'm in the middle of something. All right? Just hold on.
Watch your mouth or don't come in here.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Oh, yeah, people, come on. We're adults here. You know what? What is the point?
Yeah, we're adults here. I got a fucking Burger King fucking thing on my head. We're all fucking adults here, guys. People in my chat, 2 words. What are they? 2 words. Let me see the chat flood. Let me see the chat flood. 2 words. Okay. Next caller. Please. Let's get into the meat and potatoes, which translate in American to dick and balls.
I got flip flops. These are my flip flops. Yeah, I really like my flip flops because I can put them on. Because look, watch me put them on. I can put them on all by myself. Watch me put them on. Look, are you watching? Look, these are my flip flops.
Thanksgiving Day. I remember it clearly. It was Thanksgiving Day. I was inserting myself in somebody else's fucking business as a cash grab, and you know. This channel is harsh reality. Karen Yak se jodió la sucia vida. Amen.
This is Jonathan Lee Riches. I have cheeseburgers. I'm gonna put cheese on them. I'm gonna make sure that I have my hamburgers because I'm a big boy now and I can make the hamburgers. My mom lets me use the stove now.
And I'm just like, wow, I like receipts, and they brought receipts. Like they had evidence to back up everything they said. And I'm like, okay, well, there's got to be another side to this, right? Like this can't. No, this is too fantastic.
Yeah, because you're not going to just jump to the conclusion that there's a conspiracy amongst cops to cover up a murder. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, cops and just like soccer moms and shit. Like that's what made it even crazier. Like,
yeah, get it, Betty. Yeah,
did you have a close relationship with your mom?
Get it, Betty.
Oh, of course, I still do.
Yeah.
My older sister was kind of sad. She was more of the prissy girl that like going
That is
and
the
getting her
best
done
shit fucking
and, shopping for dresses with mommy. I was the tomboy that liked playing with.
Shout out to Cherry for just being just easily the most faithful and loyal supporter that I've ever had, man. That someone could have that tenacity with loyalty. And I'm really blessed to have someone like Cherry be part of this channel and in my life. So it means a lot. And yes, I named him after Mr. T and Rocky. Say, woman. Say, woman. Say, woman. Since your old man ain't got no heart, why don't you come down to my apartment tonight and I'll show you a real man. Oh my God, I'm so in love with this little dude. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this one up. I love you guys very, 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 very much. And we will do this again very soon, my friends. Oh, say bye. Say bye. Oh, I love you too. Give me a kiss. Oh, I love you. Bye, guys. Welcome, everybody. Oh, my goodness. I hope everybody's having a wonderful week so far. Man, big shout out here, man. I'm dropping the link in the chat real quick. Big shout out to Tom's CPU right now, man. My man is live. Got a lot of people there. I understand, if you want to go over there and support Tom, what he's doing is way more important than what I'm doing right now. It's just that I don't have any other time to do it. And I've got some people who are asking for this so they can at least catch it on the replay. But what Tom's doing right now, he's out there, and a lot of people are out there supporting the Canton 9. This is their hearing today, and and they're out there, man, and it's cold, dude. You know what I mean? Like, it's a big deal what they're out there doing. Let's drop in on them real quick so you guys can see, because I'm not doing this stream without giving Tom and all those folks their props. So I don't really
keep the camera. What camera? And chicken parm Charlie got to do chicken parm Charlie. He's got to go, dude. You got to go.
He's got to go. I don't even live there, and I'm like, get him out of there. Vote him out. Get somebody else in there.
Who fights a doctor? Nobody fought a doctor. I guess there was an ER doctor at the special town meeting in Canton that assaulted Tom DeRosa
Now, see,
on camera.
Here's the thing that you gotta understand, folks. For those of you who aren't familiar with everything that's going on here, I mean, these folks who they're supporting are in court because they express their First Amendment rights. So this is the thing is yeah, that's a big deal, and those people need support. But right now, I just want to give some serious props to the people out there who are doing exactly what the people who they're supporting got arrested for in the first place. And they're out there for them doing it, To me, that's deep, man. That's a beautiful, beautiful thing, because they're really putting their asses on the line. They're like, we know we can get arrested for this. We know we can catch the same bullshit charge. We know it, but we don't care, because what's right is right. And we have the right to come out here and support people and do it peacefully. And look, and they finally attracted some news. So this is great. So now the Canton 9 hearings are picking up some momentum in the media, which is amazing. It's all you could hope for. So even if you want to hang out here,
But I guess because I'm friends with certain people.
Because even if you want to hang out here, please, here, I'm going to drop the link one more time. Please at least click on this link and give Tom a like. Okay, please do that for me. Okay, because that would mean a lot to me. Because Tom's out there, man, in the cold. I mean, just to make sure that we can all see how passionate the people of this town are. And that's a big deal, man. That's a really big deal. So what we are going to talk about, though, we are going to go over Aiden Carney's Turtleboy's court date the other day. Now, most, if not all of you, were in Turtleboy's chat last night watching as they played the audio. I seem to have video. That was thanks to Microdots posting it on Twitter. And it is streamed. I mean, it was recorded by the town of Canton themselves. So I'm going to go ahead and play that video. And because I think it's going to be interesting to see looks on faces. Now, the thing is this woman, you know, you know, she willingly put herself in this position. I'm convinced of this 100%. So I don't have any trouble, especially if, first of all, I want to be clear, I'm not the one putting out her image here. This is already out there. We're just going over it. Okay. And she put herself in the position to be in a courtroom where her image was being recorded. And normally, if I believe that she was a victim of domestic violence, I have no reason to believe that in the slightest bit. I have absolutely no reason to believe that based on the evidence that has been presented in this case. And I realize that's controversial. And I realize that some people are turning on Turtleboy because of the allegations against him, and that's fine. But the thing is to me, this isn't about liking Turtleboy or disliking Turtleboy. This is about facts. And I see Making Law Simple. Dave is in the house. Dave actually, and thank you, Dave. Dave actually sent me a copy of the written affidavit by the woman who accused Aiden of this ridiculous shit. I believe it was absolutely entrapment, Mark. I agree. Maybe not entrapment, but I mean, there was definitely some railroading going on. I don't know if there was any red tape or loophole that they get to work through to where it was all legal like, but it was fucking gross. But I damn sure know that this woman is not a victim of a restraining order being violated, or domestic violence for that matter, that I have seen any evidence of. In fact, I've heard quite the contrary. I've heard evidence to the contrary. So it's disgusting. But thanks to Making Law Simple, thanks to Dave, I'm going to read her affidavit. That's what I'm going to do. Is I'm going to read her affidavit first, and then we're going to watch the court hearing. Because we didn't get to see that or hear that prior to Turtleboy's channel playing this yesterday. Yeah, victims don't beg the abuser to stay, man. They just don't. Okay? They just don't. There's just too much of this shit that just reeks. Clever, what are you doing, buddy? Okay. Yeah, there's too much of this that just reeks. What's up, buddy? Hi. You saying hi to everybody? Dude, don't drink my coffee, please. Say hi. Hi. I love you. Yes, I love you. You're a good boy. Go play. Go play. Off. Off. Go play. Go play. Go play. Clever. No, don't. Not me. I'm sorry, guys. This will just take a second. Off. Off, please. Thank you. Now go play. Go find something to play with. Please. Go find something to play with. Let Daddy do his thing. Thank you. Appreciate it. He's a good boy. He's a good boy. So I'm going to just go ahead and start reading this. So this is the victim's statement form. And just so you can see, because I'm trying to see, I mean, I guess it doesn't matter at this point, but no, that's not it. Hold on. There we go. So as you can see, now I'm not going to show the whole thing as I'm reading it. I mean, I guess it really doesn't matter. But as you can see, it's watermarked Making Law Simple, because he actually went through the motions to request these and get them. So a big thank you to Making Law Simple, Dave, for that. So it says here, this is written by the alleged victim. And it says here, I have been in a romantic relationship with Aiden Carney since the beginning of September 2023. He is publicly known as Turtleboy and has a well-known online blog, YouTube show, and considers himself as a journalist and an activist. Both of these are in quotations. His YouTube show has almost 50,000 viewers / subscribers. He has been covering a well-known murder case, the murder of John O'Keefe by his girlfriend, Karen Reed. During the course of our relationship, he shared now she actually has, I heard somebody say something about her penmanship yesterday in the chat. Her penmanship's not bad. If I'm comparing it to mine, it's beautiful. So, but understand that this is not print. This is someone's handwriting, and there's going to be, not even typos, like misspellings and things that are not looped well enough. And so it's going to be a little more difficult to read. So I apologize. While we were in a relationship, he was charged with 16 felonies, including several witness intimidation charges due to his harassment of the witnesses in the Karen Reed case. He often shared information with me regarding the case, including his relationship with Karen Reed, amongst other details of the case. On December 9th, 2023, we broke up due to a personal medical issue that I do not wish to disclose. And the way in which he handled it and treated me because of it, the weeks leading up to our breakup were filled with guilt trips, telling me, okay, now let me stop right here and address something, folks. Let me just tell you guys what my feelings are so far. Those details that I feel I need to read, and the only reason I feel the need to read them out loud is in order to go over when we catch lies, inconsistencies. It goes to the credibility of the alleged victim. So I am merely doing that, but I have no interest in the shit that she's saying. I have no interest in the things the details in Turtleboy's personal life, the things that he was saying. These things, unfortunately, are aired out already because of the fact that this happened. So, and I think that sucks for Turtleboy. I really do. It sucks for her too. It's just, she's the one who put herself in this position. Turtleboy has some responsibility on his end too, but at the same time, this is, again, there's no reason why it should have came to this. And the fact of the matter is that all the evidence dictates that the masterminds behind all of this were Tully and Mello. And we're going to hear that later. So to me, these little details of their personal relationship are things that I'm not comfortable knowing about, but unfortunately they're necessary to read. And that's what really sucks about this, is that being necessary to go over in order to go over the fact that she is a liar and not a victim, because you have to do these deep dives if you're going to accuse an alleged victim of being a liar and an Amber Heard, basically. So you have to be very careful. And I'm not going to just go and do that unless I was absolutely convinced, based on evidence that has been presented to me. I would not be doing this unless I absolutely felt that way with all my heart, based on evidence. So I do apologize to those of you who do not enjoy hearing these personal issues or personal details of Turtleboy and this woman's life. I you know, again, these details do not interest me, but unfortunately, they're going to be read for the sake of catching inconsistencies. So December 9th, 2023, we broke up due to a personal medical issue that I do not wish to disclose. And the way in which he handled it and treated me because of it, the weeks leading up to our breakup were filled with guilt trips. Okay, so tell me it's a pregnancy without telling me it's a pregnancy. I mean, telling me it would rain, his children's lives, etc., suicide threats, verbal threats, as well as videos of him pretending to jump in front of traffic in the middle of the night, and phone calls in which he pretended he had taken pills and was dying, followed by the voice going low and hanging up the phone and not answering until the next day. Then manipulated me and plotted these types of psychological, or played these types of psychological games for weeks. When we finally ended things on 12/9/23, I told him to leave me alone and never talk to me again. This went on, he went on his live YouTube show an hour or two later and spoke about me and on his show, calling me a crazy bitch, quote unquote, attention starved and ratchet. Because I had expressed to him that I had doubts about Karen Reed's innocence. After the show, which reached several thousand viewers, many of his fans started joining him on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube to talk badly of me. He encouraged it by liking their posts and also continued to make his own post where he threatened me and said that he knows a lot about me and he doesn't want to have to make it public. I texted him at least 2 times asking him to leave me alone, stop threatening me, talking about me on his shows and online, and just let me move on with my life. But he continued to do so from his own account and other sock accounts that he runs, sock accounts being fake accounts, started to receive text messages from numbers I didn't recognize. One said, TikTok, I know what you did, and love your Pornhub. Pornhub is a porn website where people, okay, thank you. We know what Pornhub is. I do not and have had, I do not and have, it says, looks like it says have here twice, had a Pornhub account, but Aiden has several pictures and videos of me that are sexual in nature and has been known to release naked pictures and so videos of his ex-girlfriends, and even created a Twitter account of his ex-girlfriend that shows him doing vile sexual things to her. And he bragged to me that he was the one who runs the account, and that he can't get in trouble because revenge porn is not illegal in Massachusetts. So I have been in fear he will do the same to me. When we broke up, I was put in contact with a woman, Kate Peter, who used to work with Aiden. She also has a YouTube show, and they we're talking, that's Krusty Panties, right? That's the one he calls Krusty Panties. So Kate Peter, who used to work with Aiden, she also has a YouTube show, and they are quote unquote rivals. She made me feel I could vent to her and confide in her because she understood what he was like. And he also been the subject of his threats. Okay, so listen, dude. I got to address this. So, I mean, as soon as, if I'm a judge, okay, let's just say that I'm a judge. Would that make such a difference in my opinion on certain things? Does that make sense? Like, if I'm a judge, okay, I'm saying, what I'm getting at is, if a judge reads this, if a judge reads this and hears that line, hold on. Kate Peter says, so when we broke up, I was put in contact with a woman, Kate Peter, who used to work with Aiden. She also has a YouTube show, and they are known rivals. She made me feel I could vent to her and confide in her because she understood what he was like and has also been the subject of his threats. So again, so if I'm a judge, I'm a man, okay? This matters, okay? Y'all might, I don't know, but I feel this way because I don't know what it's like to be a woman. You know what I mean? I can only speak as a man. That's all I'm saying. And as a man, you know, like I'm going to look at that and just be like, trifling. I know what that's all about. Like as soon as you break up with the dude, you go right for the guy who you're telling me was his rival and has a rival YouTube channel. And you are looking for toxicity. You're searching for it. You are on a quest of your own for toxicity. There's no other way to describe that action. No, you're not convincing me that it's because someone made you feel comfortable. If she is a rival, that means that she is doing back and forths with him. And what you're doing is finding some way to continue on your toxicity with him and find some way to some other person who's already, if your connection of toxicity is cut off from him by your breakup, well, then what you're doing here is you're connecting, you're leeching on to the next person who has that toxicity with him. And you're leeching off of their toxicity with him. And you're joining forces with toxicity. That's all you're doing. The motive behind what you're doing is to go back at him. Ultimately. And you could justify that shit in your head all day. You know, you could justify that shit in your head all day and sit there and be like, no, it's because we're girls and we're both victims of his. And we were just, no, bro. The way that this woman constantly attacks him online is easily checked because she's just as guilty, if not more than he is, of a back and forth with Turtleboy. Let's just get real. So by you seeking out her comfort, you're seeking out more toxicity. You know the toxicity's there. You just stated to the judge. If I'm the judge, I'm thinking you just stated to me that this woman has a toxic relationship with him. And so your way of dealing with your breakup with him is to go seek more toxicity connected to him. That is, by definition, folks, a psycho hose beast, as Wayne Campbell would say. Kate eventually put me in contact with the police who were investigating Aiden for his charges because of information Aiden told me that she thought was important. I spoke with the detectives about this informant, but expressed my hesitation to stay in court, or and I don't know what that word is, due to my fears of retaliation from Aiden. He has bragged about his ability to destroy, quote unquote, people's lives if he thinks they deserve it, quote unquote. A couple of days later, the detectives arrived at my home with a summons for me to what? To get me, I guess, to testify despite my fears. I messaged Aiden a picture of my summons because I thought that if he knew they were forcing me to testify, then he wouldn't retaliate against me. He wanted to meet up to discuss my summons in person. He then started realizing and figuring out, due to online tweets and messages, that I had been in contact and speaking with his rival, Kate Peter. Oh, he then started realizing, I don't know why I read that as me. It's weird. I denied it at first out of fear of what he would do, but he was adamant that he knew it was true and demanded that I admit it. He then started mentioning my parents when I hadn't spoken to them in 5 years. I told him he doesn't know anything about me, to which he said, I know a lot more than you think. And then he sent me a link to a document that was an affidavit from probate court case involving my children, and from years ago that was not public record, but he claimed it was. I took this as a direct threat, as I mentioned extremely private, sensitive information about my very young children. He then said, if I just came clean and admitted I had been talking to Kate, that he would forgive me and everything, and make everything okay and protect me. He called me as I was hysterically crying, and I just told him whatever he wanted to hear, so he would not put this private information about my kids online for the world to see. So, okay, man, see, I gotta say something here. Let me go over chat a little bit, because I can't see chat, guys, when I'm talking about this, when I'm reading that. So it's hard for me to hear this person use the idea that her children are in some sort of physical danger with Aiden, when we heard the recording that we heard. So reading this is a little jarring. You know what I mean? Reading that is a little, it's bothersome. It really kind of is. So yeah, it's very strange. And there's a lot of just emotional, there's a lot of like emotional influence to their actions here, on both sides. So, according to her and even according to him a little bit. So, and it's understandable, because I'm looking at this and I'm thinking like, well, she's making him sound like he's totally irrational. Like if he's worried about the things that, I mean, he was very intimate with this person. And I'm just stating this, I'm trying to think of this like I'm a juror in this case. You know what I'm saying? Like we're a jury right now. We're a jury of 300 right now. And, we're discussing this. And what I'm getting out of that is okay, well, who wouldn't be upset if this guy's livelihood is his image? And it is. You know what I mean? His livelihood is putting his thoughts and words out there. His to investigate, put his thoughts and words out there on what he investigates. It's to be on YouTube and discuss and be a personality, and he has this intimate relationship with this person. And then all of a sudden, this person who has a lot of intimate information on him decides to go and right after their breakup, and admittedly in this affidavit, she says this, right after the breakup, she goes to the enemy. She immediately gravitates towards his enemy. You know what I mean? How are you not supposed to think that there's some sort of ill will behind that? How are you not supposed to go on defense mode when that happens? This is someone who you have said that you love many, many times. They've told you they love you. And then this person goes after the person who's trying to destroy you more than anybody else in the world. She gravitates directly towards that person. So therefore, I'm going to understand, I'm going to look at what he's doing as a defense rather than this picture that's being painted as an offense, because she's telling me everything by trying to tell me something else. And I'm like, no, you gave me all the information. Through her own admission, she went and started talking to this person because I felt that she could understand, because she's been through the same things. She's hurt by Aiden. I'm hurt by Aiden. We're going to pull our shit together. And this is a person who publicly, not even privately, publicly makes it very clear. Kate Peters seems to make it very clear how much she hates him and how much she talks about him. She is on a constant campaign, it seems like, to destroy his image. And then my girlfriend her and I just broke up goes and immediately gravitates towards this person. Of course I'm going to feel threatened. Why would I not feel threatened by that? So, as I'm not condoning the things that were said, that's none of my business. The things that were said between the two of them, that's none of my business. But what I'm saying is, considering that stuff is pretty tame. He's just saying, if you destroy me, I'll destroy you. And I'm not saying it's the right thing to do. I'm saying that I understand it. I'm saying that it makes sense to me that someone would do this. But I'm not saying necessarily that it's the right thing to do. I honestly don't know. But I get it. I 100% get it. And, yeah, I already said that. Never mind. So private information about my kids and the world to see. He also sent me naked pictures of me and sex videos which I perceived as a threat to, quote unquote, remind me that he had them in his possession and he would release them if I didn't do as he wanted. He told me to meet him the next day, Saturday, 12/23/23, to talk about my summons before he arrived. I spoke with the detective who gave me the summons about my fear of Aiden's threats if it testified. They said that if he threatened me, they could help me because it's illegal, but I was still fearful. I then met Aiden at my apartment complex in a conference room. He told me that if I did not work with him and show him my phone or let me look through my phone or let him look through my phone, that he would have no choice but to have his attorney, quote unquote destroy me on the stand at trial. He said he would bring up past drug use, Department of Children Family cases, and he would release the affidavits and other personal information he had on me and my children. I asked how he got it, and he said Massachusetts, it's public records, but it's not. You need an attorney login to get in. He told me he used his friend's login credentials, who is an attorney, to get it. And showed me all of the documents of me and my kids, at least 6 to 10, in his phone. He said I would have to do exactly as he says, that he would pay for an attorney for me, but I would not be allowed to speak to an attorney first, because then the attorney will tell me not to trust him. And he wanted to make sure my attorney looked out for him too. He said I would need to make sure that these guys go down, the detectives who are investigating him, and that Karen Reed is set free, that I would be instrumental, quote unquote, in doing so. He said that I needed to delete all my conversations with him on my phone, and that I wouldn't get in trouble because the detectives never gave me a preservation of evidence form. So I don't have to show them my phone, and was free to delete whatever I wanted. He then came to my apartment room and forced me to sit with him and show him every single text between me and Kate Peter as he sat down, or he sat with a pen and notepad and took notes. At the end, he told me he was proud of me, and that he loved me, and I did a great job, and now he would protect me, quote unquote, and then had sex with me, and immediately afterwards, 3 a.m., said he had to leave. I was upset and felt I don't know, into it showing, or felt forced into me showing him my phone just for him to use me and leave. And he said he would actually not be getting a lawyer or helping. At this point, I walked from my bedroom into my living room with my back to him, saw the notepad with his hates, grabbed the paper, crumpled it, and shoved it down my shirt. He asked what I was. For real, dude? Clubber. No. Go lay down. Hey, dude. Hey, I can't do this with you right now, my friend. I love you. But you're going to have to go find a chew toy to go chew on and keep yourself busy or something. And I know it's cold down here, but I got the space heater on, buddy. I know, buddy. I love you too. I love you too. So at this point, I walked from my bedroom into my living room with my back to him, saw the notepad with his notes, grabbed the paper, crumpled it, shoved it down my shirt. He asked what I was doing, and when he saw that I took the paper, he grabbed my arm to try to get it from me and my wrist. When he saw the paper wasn't in my hand, he was yelling at me and give it back, and pushed me into the couch. I ran into my room and hid the paper under my mattress before he could see. He kept demanding that I give it back. I refused and told him over and over to leave my apartment. He refused to leave unless or until I gave him the paper. Eventually, he calmed down somewhat, though we were still verbally arguing. He left around 5 a.m. without incident. I am terrified of Aiden Carney. He is clearly unstable mentally and is extremely vengeful and has sociopathic and narcissistic tendencies. He has told me several times that he never lets go of a grudge and destroys people's lives who deserves it. I am scared of what he might do to me or my kids. In addition, he showed me on his phone of a Twitter account that was created about me that shows a picture of my 2-year-old daughter and says my name and ghetto hoe addicted to heroin who needs your attention. Follow me on Pornhub. I am afraid of also what he may do to my children, and I am terrified of what pictures of my daughter may be on this site. And that's it. So now, and for those of you who are just joining, you probably already came over from there, but do me a favor if you haven't already. Go over to Tom's CPU and give him a like. I just dropped the link in chat. So yeah, do me a favor and give him a like. Tom's out there in the cold handling that Canton 9 stuff. And that guy, the lawyer, Gens, the guy's cool, dude. I love that guy. So yeah. This was the written affidavit of this woman. I'm sure we'll hear her name mentioned or whatever, but I honestly, I don't even remember it, but I don't care. I don't want to know. I don't care. But we're going to hear it here, and we're probably going to see her too. So this is part 1. And I don't think there's subtitles.
Oh, go ahead, do that. Mr. Craig, to be released. Yes, Your Honor. Thank you very much. Yes, Your Honor.
Can everybody hear okay? It's the best I can do with volume. Yeah. Now, Turtleboy played the audio of this last night, or Turtleboy's channel, whoever was running it, and what I knew as I was listening to it that I needed to review it.
That's the truth, so help you God.
All right. This is the matter of Lindsay Gattani versus A.B. Carey. Judge Christopher, she issued an emergency restraining order on Christmas Eve, December 24th. I extended the order after a hearing where Ms. Gattani testified in front of me on December 26th. It's terminal today. The council could please identify themselves.
Dan Goodrich, representing Ms. Gattani. When you're on, Michael Pollack, representing Ms. Gattani.
Hello, Your Honor. Timothy Bradle on behalf of Aiden Carney. For the record, my client is before the court.
I think we got a super chat.
No strays. Thank you so much. Remember, fellas, anytime a woman wants to give you Christmas cookies, just look in the mirror and say, this gotta be a setup. I mean, dude, listen, y'all are like, listen, I'm gonna go out on a limb here. Okay. I talked about this a little bit in chat yesterday. You guys are gonna have to forgive me, man, because like it is real cold here. So I gotta warm my hands up in front of the heater here. Listen, we're all adults. Okay? We're all adults here. Let's just talk about the elephant in the room for a second. Wasn't going to do this, but I'm going to do it anyway. We're all grown-ups here, okay? None of us are fucking perfect. If there's one thing on this planet that causes us all to, at one point or another, have a serious lapse of judgment, it is sex. Without a doubt. Without a doubt, if there is one thing on this planet so everybody who's just like Turtleboy, man, like, dude, what the fuck, bro? Blah, blah, blah. Like, dude, why are you so stupid? It fucking happens, and we're all fucking guilty of it. Every single one of us. Okay? So I don't want to see anybody sitting here calling him a moron because, dude, sometimes, dude, as a man, I'm going to tell you right now, sometimes, dude, that pussy is fucking fire, you know? And I'm not talking about I'm talking about the entire vibe that you get with the sexual chemistry that you get with someone else. It is fire, lit, and it happens. Clever, get away from that. And that's not for me or you to judge. Sitting there and going, I don't get it. She's not all that. That has nothing to do with that. That has nothing to do with that. The dynamic between two people has nothing to do with me or you or anybody else. You're not supposed to understand it. You're not supposed to get it. You're supposed to mind your own fucking business. So, as far as that goes, the bottom line is all I'm concerned with is the lying. It is the lying. I'm not here talking about anybody's lapse of judgment. I'm talking about, was Turtleboy fucking set up? Do I think he was set up? Absolutely. And all I'm going to do is talk about how that is the case. And unfortunately, these lies, no matter what the content of these lies are relevant.
In custody, Your Honor, this is my client, Aiden Carney.
Aiden Carney. Okay. Mr. Canton, are you moving to extend this order today?
Yes, I am.
Is your client opposed to it?
We are, Your Honor.
Okay. And you had some preliminary?
I did. Thank you very much, Your Honor. Judge, I sent out 2 subpoenas, ducis tecum, last week. One of them is to the babysitter of Ms. Gattani, Ms. Grace Barrett, and the service was effectuated on Friday at last unusual place of abode. And she's not here to the best of my knowledge. She's not here to the best of my knowledge, Your Honor. And she's someone that is very important to the defense of this case, because I have a statement that I provided to counsel coming in today for Ms. Gattani, wherein Ms. Barrett indicates that Ms. Gattani said to her, no, he didn't assault me. He was only trying to get back the papers I took from him. And it's extremely important testimony.
Bradel just comes out guns blazing right out the gate. Like, yo, I already got somebody trying to tell me that she said he didn't even touch her. Like, Judge, my man's been talking for like 1 minute and is already like, I've already got somebody who's telling me she told her that he didn't even touch her.
She's not here today. I have a statement from her, from my investigator, Mr. Chiapetta, who's present here in the courtroom today. You would be a witness, but we don't have the best evidence. I know the rules of evidence are relaxed or don't apply here, but I would like compliance with the subpoena. And also the ducis tecum aspect of that subpoena was that she was to provide, she was to come here with text messages between her and Ms. Gattani, text messages between her and Lieutenant Detective Tully of the Mass State Police, text messages between, or text voice statements, any statements basically, between her and the Mass State Police, between her and the Medfield State Police regarding this, because they're very important to the defense here, Your Honor, because we contend that this entire episode was engineered and set up by the Mass State Police. And so we were demanding, as is Mr. Carney's absolute right, to subpoena those items to this evidentiary hearing. And we don't have them, we're deprived of them, and I want them. So I'm asking the court for assistance with this subpoena. And I have a proof of service from Friday. And I also have information, Judge, that third hand, but it's been filtered through to my defense team, Your Honor, that this woman has, Ms. Barrett has put it out there, so to speak, that she's not coming. So she has noticed, she has been served, and I would ask that the capious issue and that we keep the hearing open until she appears with the required documentation. Obviously, an extremely important witness that would testify to this plaintiff's recantation of what she earlier said.
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, we object to the subpoena. We're moving to quash the subpoena. Essentially, Judge, multiple points on this. The first point is that we received the subpoena on Friday. It's impractical and unreasonable to expect anybody to, over the weekend, in a short period of time, pull together all of these communications. That takes a lot of time, and simply, we did not have that time to do that, and we haven't been able to do that. Secondly, what information? The information that's requested in the subpoena, Judge.
Just to help, I'm just trying to help here. I'm not trying to take over the floor. But counsel's, I think, addressing the same exact issues with respect to Ms. Gattani's subpoena.
I'm dealing with this third party.
Yeah, I appreciate the help, counsel, but essentially, Judge, what we are objecting to the subpoena because this is nothing more than sort of irrelevant and separate issues that we're trying to keep out of this hearing today. We're here today, Judge, for a 209A extension hearing. Your Honor already found that there was enough evidence to issue this order preliminarily.
And I hope y'all are comfortable because it's going to be a long day. I've also got a stream set up for the Karen Reed hearing. So even if we don't get through this, but I mean, we got a couple of hours. So even if we don't get through this, because I'll be adding commentary and stuff like that. But we got the Karen Reed hearing coming up, and I've got that set up. And I think a couple of people are covering that. Microdots, awesome. This is my favorite show, man. Coming from Microdots, dude. Like Microdots super chatting me and telling me it's his favorite show, dude. That's or their favorite show. That's crazy because Microdots is definitely one of my favorites. Most definitely. Those videos are fire. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Microdots. That means a lot. Now a few people I'm sure are going to be, and Microdots, thank you for posting this. Because this now we have video and it's a lot easier to see some body language and things of that nature when we see testimony. So shit, I forgot what I was going to say. So look, full disclosure, people, I'm not even trying to lie. I ate a gummy that was like double the potency and I wasn't ready for it. So I'm struggling here.
There is nothing that is requested in the subpoena that bears any relevance on the hearing here today. And it goes well beyond the scope of this civil hearing. And we ask that Your Honor quash that.
To the extent that they're arguing with respect to Ms. Barrett's subpoena, Judge, I don't see how they have standing to quash a subpoena of a third party. And I think I've made an offer of proof as to relevance. And
Where did this information come from? Where did this information come from?
so Mr. Chiappetta interviewed Ms. Barrett.
Your investigator?
Yes, and he wrote a report. And
You provided the report?
yeah, yes, we have, Your Honor.
This morning.
5 minutes.
Well, about 4 minutes after I met him. So, yeah, she informed my investigator, and my investigator has a report that we'll submit it to evidence, Judge. But again, we should be entitled to the best evidence of it, where she would come in here and testify by way of offer of proof from the defense team that, you know, Lindsay said to her, no, he didn't assault me. He was only trying to get back the papers I had taken from him. And obviously and there's two more pages of information that she would offer. So she's a vital witness to the defense here.
So what are you requesting that I do today?
I'm asking you to issue a capias for her to be brought in during court hours and keep the hearing open until such time as she appears with the responsive document.
Maybe a phone call to her. Might suffice.
Sure, we'd be happy to do that, Your Honor. And
Judge, if I may, just for the record, I think what counsel is doing here with these subpoenas, especially with.
Well, I think that's kind of relevant information.
Your Honor, can't he get that same information from cross-examination of our witness? I mean, if it's talking about a conversation he had with, why are we going to go through all this when we could have our witness on the stand today?
by way of an offer of proof to that, Your Honor, my investigation has also indicated through people that through Ms. Barrett, I don't need to beat around the bush here. Ms. Barrett informed my investigator that Ms. Gattani took her phone and deleted many, many text messages from Ms. Barrett's phone. So I want to see what's going on with respect to these phones, with respect to what's been evidence that's been destroyed or altered. And that's why this is so important to the defense, Your Honor.
Your Honor,
So,
this is a simple 209A. It's about one evening in December. They're trying to make this a broad fishing expedition to involve everything else that's going around with this matter. It's unnecessary. We have a witness here who's subject to cross-examination. You're very able to judge her credibility based on that cross-examination.
I think we should go forward with the hearing. We'll go forward with the hearing.
Sure.
I'll note your objection and we'll see where it goes.
Thank you, Your Honor. And just with respect to the record, Judge, it's the same issues with respect to the subpoena duces taken that I had issued with respect to Ms. Gattani. There was a schedule of information to be provided, and none of which has been provided, all of which would be simply available in her cell phone. That is all the same issues. And so she's obviously here, and I'd like to know why the responsive documents have not been provided and what the plaintiff's position is on that, because we are absolutely entitled to those items. And if they've not already been destroyed, which I think they have, but we're entitled to some responsive document with respect to
As it
the
pertains
subpoena.
to this hearing.
Yes, as it pertains to here, Your Honor, absolutely.
Your Honor, he's asking for communications with police officers and detectives that are involved in the other matter. It's a broad subpoena. It's trying to make this into a circus, and this is about one evening. And again, communications between the defendant and my client should be in the defendant's phone if he really needs those. And also,
We have those, Your Honor. Those are not what we're seeking. We're seeking communications between the complainant, the plaintiff, and the officers who we contend triggered this incident to get Mr. Carney arrested and get his bail revoked. The whole thing was engineered, Your Honor. So we contend that.
Maybe I thought she was subpoenaed to testify in front of the.
Yes, and I'll refresh this. I'll allude to the framework, the factual framework there, if I may, Your Honor.
Now, this is the part where you start to listen to one of the craziest fucking court proceedings you've ever listened to. I don't care how many you've ever listened to. When you listen to Bradel explain the details of this case, it's fucking insane. It's crazy. There's no way to not sound fucking crazy explaining this. And I mean, the fact that he got a judge to listen to it is a miracle. It's a miracle. I'm not surprised at all that he granted the junction, that he granted the order. I'm not surprised, but I am surprised that he listened and they went as long as they did listening, and he was open to hearing everything. I don't have anything negative to say about this judge. I got to be honest.
The factual framework there, Judge, is that on Friday, December 26th, we were in Norfolk Superior Court. Sorry, 22nd, thank you. We were in Norfolk Superior Court on Mr. Carney's arraignment. And at that time, he was relieved of any restrictions whatsoever in terms of stay-away orders, and he was essentially allowed to go back to investigating the Karen Reed murder case. No stay-away orders, no nothing. So,
and you know, people, let's try to keep our personal feelings out of this if we can. You know, just try. Just, you know, I'm not trying to tell anybody what to do. I'm just saying, like, for the sake of your own happiness, it's just a recommendation. You know, try to just, because listen, I know this chick. Never met her in my life. Never spoke with her, nothing. That's not what I mean by I know her. I'm saying I know this woman better than she knows herself already. Dude, I'm almost half a century old, bro. You know what I mean? Like, I know this woman. You know what I mean? And so, of course, part of me is just like, oh, you are the worst, you know. The other part of me is just like, you know what, man, it's not my life. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not even gonna do that to myself. So trust me, it's a lot easier to just it's a lot easier to focus just on what actually matters when you're able to do that. So I highly recommend it. So I'm just trying to, like, share with you guys. That's all. Do what you want. I'm not telling y'all how to feel. I'm just saying, for me, it's a lot easier to come to find these inconsistencies by taking my feelings out of it. The only thing that I'm actually infuriated about, is the fact that this is totally a railroad job, and it's obvious. That and the fact that all of Turtleboy's private dynamic with a woman sexually is out there for the world to know. That's none of anybody's business, and it sucks. It sucks, you know? So that angers me. When that happens to you, trust me, it sucks. And it's just, I feel bad for him in that sense. Excuse me.
He left there, and an hour or two later, our defense investigation has revealed that an hour or two later, Lieutenant Detective Tully was at Ms. Gattani's house with a grand jury subpoena for essentially no crime.
Yo, Tully gets around, doesn't he? Tully gets around. Interesting.
No information, no incriminating information for anything, because I'm privy to my client's interactions with her. So there's no criminal behavior whatsoever that was ever engaged in that would be relevant to anything on a case where he's already been indicted on 16 charges. The grand jury investigation's over. We contend this grand jury subpoena was manufactured and given to Ms. Gattani to make her a witness, just to make her a witness in the case, as a foundation for a witness intimidation charge later. And so what happened was Ms. Gattani gets this summons for the following Wednesday. Ms. Gattani gets the summons. She immediately goes.
Yeah, if I were grand jury the following Wednesday.
Yes, the following Wednesday, right. And she served that just right after Mr. Carney gets completely free of any restrictions. And we contend this whole thing is revenge for him being freed up of any restrictions to go back to investigating these cases, exposing these very same officers that are charging him here, which is extremely questionable in terms
This
of.
has nothing to do with the restraining order.
Well, it does. It actually does, Your Honor. I know it's convoluted, but sometimes it's convoluted, and I'm sorry, and I know the court will hear me and when it's convoluted, and it is. And so he goes over there with this summons, and she then invites him over in contradiction to her.
Yeah, guys, Cherry just dropped Turtleboy's Defense Fund. That's also in the description at the very bottom, along with the Canton 9 Defense Fund. I would encourage all of you that can even spare even $1. That would be really helpful, because they are unjustly Canton 9 are being unjustly charged, and Turtleboy is unjustly incarcerated, in my opinion. And we're seeing the evidence here. So Bradel is making an indisputable case. We saw that. We saw it. We saw the timing. Once we realized the timing of how these things happened, it was clear. Mello made comments after Turtleboy's hearing, saying that they were looking for a danger, something about some sort of order involving a danger. And then the very next day, she is in contact, or this very same afternoon, actually, she's in contact with Mello. I mean, that's not, come on. that's clearly a railroad job. I mean, the timing of this is all more than a little convenient.
Her statement, yes, invites Mr. Carney over and insists that he come over in person to talk about the summons and what to do. And she comes to him for help.
Dangerous.
She says to him in the text messages and in their communications, and this is what Mr. Carney will testify to. So this is just me talking. This is what Mr. Carney is going to testify to. She tells him that she has been cooperating with the people in the Reed case that are against Mr. Carney. And she's sorry.
It's an offer of proof.
Yes, this is an absolute offer.
We have a witness that's going to testify.
Yes, Mr. Carney. And that she's been cooperating with the people that are aligned against Mr. Carney relative
Good
to
point. Great point, Olivia.
Witnesses that are involved, witnesses that are accused of being the actual conspirators in the murder plot. And so she's been working with them, but pretending to still be his friend or his girlfriend or one or the other. It changes. And so she invites him over to makes up this story that she's pregnant and she needs to take some pills to end the pregnancy, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, you see, this isn't a situation of like crazy YouTube drama. This is someone who feels threatened, like, yeah, we're watching this on YouTube, but make no mistake, Turtleboy's a real guy with kids that's being charged with real crimes. This isn't a show. This dude is scared. Like, he's fucking scared. You know? I mean, and I don't blame him at all. He should be. He's in jail right now. That's some scary shit. That's as real as shit gets. You know what I mean? So, if the person that you care about so much is threatening to go after the person who's trying to destroy you the most, she gravitates to that person. It is devastating. And of course, your worst fears are that this person can absolutely destroy me. Because my image matters in my work. My private life should stay private.
and that he needs to stay with her all night long. He doesn't want to go. He went there against my advice. He tried to talk to her in the conference room in the lobby of the building, and she got him upstairs to her apartment. And she, in a private setting, obviously. This is my offer of proof, Judge, for why I need these documents that she either destroyed or is withholding from me today.
And it's so crazy because Bradel has to be like, this is a crucial part of what he's doing, because he's sitting here and he has to convince a judge, despite the prosecutor, or not the prosecutor, but her attorney saying, what the fuck is this? Come on. He's trying to downplay this and make it seem like it's a big show and like it's a waste of the court's time. And this guy is just crazy. And the stuff that he's going to come with at this stuff is just insane. And he's just trying to downplay it like, dude, you're going to listen to this nonsense, Your Honor? It's a very strategic move, because this guy knows that it's a fucking railroad job. He knows what they're going to say. He knows how obvious it is. So what's he going to do? He's going to fucking gaslight Bradel and make Bradel seem like he's crazy, talking about things that are completely irrelevant. What is he rambling about? What is this nonsense that's just coming out of my brother-in-law, his mouth? What is happening here? That's what he's going to do, because it sounds fucking nuts. So Bradel is in a really difficult position here, because he has to get the judge to listen to it, where the judge is surprisingly open to doing so. This is actually a big win for Bradel, believe it or not. I'm shocked that they even got the judge to listen to all of this.
And so she brings him up there and won't let him leave. Contrary again to her affidavit that he's barging in and insisting on looking at everything. She invited him over, the evidence will show, to do this. She allows him to look at the interactions between her and these investigators, and he's taken notes, writes 5 pages of notes. In the middle of this, they have sexual relations.
I mean, Cherry, you're right. I totally guaranteed that this is not the first time he's heard stories about, similar to what he's hearing as far as that goes, as far as their interaction goes. But the fact that they're arguing that she was used by Tully and Mello to get him incarcerated, that's not something I think that the judge hears every day. That sounds fucking crazy.
He says, I'm going home. I got to go. That's what triggers her, consistent with several times in the past.
I said the same thing, Olivia.
Family, she would get very angry.
I said the same thing, Olivia. The first time I heard taking notes with a notepad, why didn't he do it with his phone? And then I remembered he was recording her with his phone. So maybe he couldn't because he was recording her. But that's never mentioned in her affidavit, which I find interesting, because if I had to guess as to why this person did not add this alleged victim did not add this to her affidavit, her sworn written affidavit, is because if there is a recording and stating this in the affidavit, that there is a recording, well, then that would probably encourage people to want to hear this recording and what's on it. And I don't think that she wanted anyone to hear what was on that recording, because we heard what was on that recording. So no, I don't think that she wanted anyone to hear what was on that recording. And that's why she left it out.
Very angry and upset. Consistent with that pattern, this night she gets very angry and upset. She steals his property. She steals his notes. and she stuffs them down her shirt. And Mr. Carney does nothing in terms of any domestic violence whatsoever. He calmly speaks with her and says, "Can I please have those back?" Because that's the whole purpose of why she invited him over. He didn't engineer any of this stuff. She won't give it back. She goes in the bedroom. She claims that she took these pills, that he needs to be there to make sure she's okay, because she has 4 children in the house as well at this very time. And he's stuck there. So he sits there, waits till she falls asleep, and leaves at 5 o'clock in the morning when she's asleep, so he can get out of there. That's what the...
I mean, in her affidavit, she acts like he's stalking her and won't leave her alone, and she texts him to tell him to just leave her alone, and this is fucking wild. Like she can't, like, the stuff that she's saying can't be misproven.
The evidence will show from Mr. Carney's testimony. And
or
the next morning, she doesn't call the police about some supposed domestic violence incident, which, such as it is, Judge, is on their evidence.
Some places do it, man.
Into the couch or onto the couch, depending on which statement you want to believe of hers. But that's the whole incident, that after she stole his property, that he allegedly, in which we certainly adamantly deny, pushed her to the couch, to the soft couch. That's the whole bout of domestic violence here that we're dealing with. So she doesn't call the Medfield police. Lieutenant Detective Tully calls the Medfield police, consistent with our allegation that this whole thing is a setup, engineered.
Now, I wonder now now I think Making Law Simple is going to go over this sometime tonight. So make sure to watch that, because he's going to be able to add like the legal aspects of the ins and outs legally as to what's taking place here from a lawyer's perspective. So yeah, it's very, very different, Microdots. Absolutely 100% very different. Well, I was going to just say that, Cherry, because I mean, Johnny Depp won. He beat her in court. I mean, so he technically held her accountable, right? Yeah, I mean, come on, dude. You know what I mean? Like, people who are just like, I don't know about all that. You guys are paranoid. What?
She was in touch with him. She was in touch with him when
you guys are drinking the cool.
She was in touch with him throughout this whole thing, which is why we're demanding these. Yes, which is why we're demanding these communications, as is our absolute right.
You know, you may be entitled to those in the criminal matter. This is a civil matter. This is a 209A hearing, and I think the Commonwealth is not involved in this matter right now. You may be entitled to those.
See, this is a good move by Bradle right here.
Criminal proceeding, assault matter, or domestic. But this is a 209A hearing, a civil proceeding. I can hear the testimony of both parties, any other witnesses. I don't think that that's necessary.
See, Judge, so it's a lawful subpoena, properly served. If counsel...
Well, I said, let's hear the evidence.
Sure.
Hear the evidence and make a decision whether I think it's relevant.
All right. Thank you very much.
Counsel? Everyone's been sworn.
Please proceed if you are.
Ready to proceed. Okay, everyone have a seat.
Judge, I'm sorry, there's one other program.
Go ahead.
Sorry about that. This proceeding has somehow been allowed to be issued without a sworn statement from the plaintiff. If you look at the 9 or 10 page statement that she wrote, that's an unsworn Medfield.
Actually, she testified in front of me. I asked her, I believe I saw the record, I asked her whether everything is true and accurate in the statement. I think the record will speak for itself. When she was in front of me, after I read the statement, I asked her whether everything was accurate and true in the statement. She testified yes. So in essence, it is.
All right.
You can check the record if you look at the record.
I appreciate that, saying, Your Honor, I don't need to check that record on that. If the court's telling me that, I certainly would believe it. Nonetheless, Your Honor, I think that the rules of civil procedure require that motions be supported by a written affidavit. And I would like to have for my papers for the ongoing case, a sworn statement under oath that she signs, at least incorporating that statement or such.
Here it is.
Okay.
Second page of the
May I see it,
affidavit.
please? I'm sorry, I haven't seen that. You know, I know the Commonwealth is. Thank you very much, sir. I know the Commonwealth is very solicitous of domestic violence complainants, but sometimes it puts a defendant at a disadvantage and makes it very difficult to fight that, but I appreciate that, thank you.
Make claim for 2 weeks. Stand. Oh, hey, come forward.
She's been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Canton, please state your name and spell it for the record.
Lindsay Gattani, LINDSEYGAETANI.
How old are you, Ms. Canton?
37.
And what level of education do you have?
I have 2 college degrees, a bachelor's degree, 4-year degree in psychology. I have a 2-year associate's degree in nursing as well, and my registered nursing license.
Do you have any children?
I do. I have 4 children.
How old?
Yo, is it just me, or how come the ladies with psychology degrees are always the wackiest, bro? Like in my experience, anyway. That's all I'm saying. The ones who go out and get a psychology degree always turn out to be the wackiest, man. It's just a weird phenomenon.
How old are they?
12, 5, 3, and 2.
Were you in a relationship with the defendant?
Yes.
Approximately when did that relationship start?
About the beginning of September.
And approximately when did that relationship end?
Approximately at the beginning of December.
So the relationship was roughly 3 months long, is that right?
Correct.
Was the relationship intimate?
Yes, it was.
Did he ever tell you that he loved you?
Yes, it did.
Has he met your kids?
Yes.
Has he been to your house?
Yes.
Why did the relationship end?
We had a disagreement about a personal medical issue.
Is that
You gotta love the poise, bro. You know what I mean? This is the most Amber Heard-y shit. Except, Amber Heard, what she started doing, man, she started dressing like a school teacher from like 1990, right? She wore glasses, she put her hair in a bun, to look as innocent as possible. And so now she's sitting up there. This is not the woman I heard on that recording, bro. You know what I mean? That's not her. I mean, I could see her because I heard the recording, right? But but it's funny how she acts like that recording doesn't exist and just sits up there totally just like proper, and she wants to be she's trying to project an image of being respectable, but she like took a bunch of pills and threatened to like drive her kids over to the dude's driveway and like have an abortion. Like, what? That's wacky as fuck, lady. Like, you're not fooling me with this you're not fooling me with that shit.
your pregnancy? Is that what the disagreement was about?
Correct.
What was his reaction when you told him that you were pregnant?
Initially?
Yeah.
Nervous?
As time went on, what
Hitler Youth inspired. Nice.
It changed throughout. He was nervous at first, then appeared to be somewhat supportive for a while, and then when he learned that I was hesitant about what to do regarding the pregnancy, he became very persuasive in trying to make a decision that he wanted to make.
Did he pressure you into making that decision?
Yes.
Did he ever say anything like he would kill himself if he did not have the procedure?
Yes.
Why did the relationship end?
The relationship ended because of a disagreement over what to do about the pregnancy.
And after you broke up, did the defendant ever harass you?
Yes.
Objection to the characterization.
Sustain the leading. Maybe you fix the question.
After you broke up, did the defendant ever do anything that concerned you?
Yes.
What?
He began making comments about me on his live YouTube shows and on his social media platforms.
And did those comments frighten you?
Yes.
Did he ever threaten you with releasing any of your personal information?
Yes.
Did he ever threaten to release sensitive photos of you?
He didn't explicitly threaten to release the photos, but he did, in my opinion, taunt me by sending me screenshots of certain videos between us.
Did he ever send you any confidential documents pertaining to your children?
Yes.
Are you afraid of the defendant's actions?
Yes.
Now I want to discuss the evening of December 23rd. Did the defendant come over that evening?
Yes.
And he came over to talk about a subpoena he received?
Yes.
What was the subpoena, briefly, the subpoena about?
In regards to his pending charges through the Superior Court for witness intimidation.
And was the defendant angry about you receiving the subpoena?
Yes.
Objection, Judge, to the conclusory nature of the question.
What do you ask her? How?
Yeah, sorry, Your Honor, I'll rephrase.
Yeah, see,
Generally on these kind of hearings.
I'd like to investigate that, but I'm not gonna go through fucking hours and hours of Turtleboy footage and blogs to do that. Like I was able to go through his charges because they provided timestamps in well, except for one thing, but they provided timestamps and video titles. So I was able to go over those and disprove them. But as far as this goes, yeah, I'm not doing all that. But I mean, the thing is she should provide those timestamps, and her attorney should provide those timestamps and video titles if that's the case, just like Mello did. But Mello just lied about what they said. So. See, a lot of you were saying he's never even said her name on a live show. Huh. Interesting.
I know.
So when the defendant arrived at your house, what happened?
When he arrived, he wanted to meet I live in an apartment complex. He wanted to meet in a conference center that I have down the hall of my building. He was nervous that there were plugs in my apartment. Not the inside.
Some kind of recording devices, thank you. And at some point, did you start discussing the subpoena?
Yes.
And what did the defendant ask regarding the subpoena?
He asked.
In as many words as you can.
Well, he wanted to know why I was receiving it. He discussed getting me an attorney.
And you're a piece of
I
shit.
did tell him that my phone would likely be subpoenaed and messages between us would be recovered and shown. So he discussed getting me an attorney. Said that he would pay for the attorney to prevent that from happening, that he would protect me. He said that he wanted to go through
Objection, Your Honor, it's non-responsive.
Overruled.
He wanted to go through my phone and look at messages between me and another woman that has, I'm trying to think of how to describe her. Should I name her?
No, you can just.
Another woman, and that is related to the case, I guess. And he also wanted to look at any messages between myself and the detectives, and
And did you let him look through your phone?
I did.
Why?
When I initially told him I was not going to let him look at my phone, he told me that he would destroy me and his lawyer would destroy
Trace the
me.
signal.
And if I did end up testifying, that he would bring up embarrassing things from my past and try to humiliate me.
So you were pressured into showing him your phone?
Yes.
Did he take notes while he was looking at your phone?
He did.
After he took notes from looking at your phone, were you intimate with him?
Yes.
And after you had intimate relations with him, what happened?
After that,
Let me rephrase the question, I'm sorry. After you were intimate with him, did the defendant immediately leave or did he stay around for a while?
he stayed around.
Why did he stay around for a while?
I took the abortion pills. He said he would stay with me after I took them.
And after you took them, what did he do?
He said, all right, I gotta get going or something along those lines. I have to leave to get going. I remember the exact words.
And then were you upset after you took them?
Yes.
And what did you do?
I walked out of my bedroom where we both were standing and into my living room. And I saw his notepad on my couch where he had taken the notes. I then ripped off the pages of notes that he took and crumpled them and put them down my shirt.
And did that upset the defendant?
Twat!
And what did he do to you?
He came up from behind me because my back was towards him since he was coming from my bedroom. And at first he didn't know, I think, what I did. He said to me, what did you just do? And then he looked and saw that his notes were not there anymore. He grabbed me by the back of my shoulder to turn me around, and my fist was like this. I believe he thought the notes were in my hand, because then he tried to grab my fist. And in the process, he's saying, give me my notes back, yelling at me to give him the notes. And then when he saw they weren't in my hand, he started yelling some more, what did you do with them? And kind of pushed me in the process of trying to wrestle me for the notes. And my knees were at like the couch level. So he pushed me into the couch and I fell onto the couch.
And did that hurt?
No.
You were frightened by it? And after the argument, did you eventually leave? Did he eventually leave?
Eventually.
And sometime the next day you spoke with the police, is that right?
Yeah.
And did you tell the police officers that he was physical with you?
I did.
As you sit here today, are you still in fear?
This is some bullshit.
You called the police, Ms. Katani? Who'd you call?
I first called Detective Ryan Kelly.
When did you first get in communication with Lieutenant Detective Tully?
I believe it was around mid-December.
When did you first meet him?
I first met him at my home.
How did that come about?
Someone had put me in contact with him.
Who was that?
Special prosecutor Ken Nella,
And when did you start talking to him?
roughly around the same time, I think mid-December.
So you were in touch with the prosecutor of your boyfriend?
Objection, Your Honor. If we're going to get into the conspiracy stuff, I think you already ruled that we're going to try to keep this focused.
See what I mean?
So you're in touch with the prosecutor of your boyfriend?
Well, we had broken up by that point. We broke up.
This guy is unfucking believable.
But you didn't really break up, did you? Because you were together after that, you had sexual relations after that, correct?
Once we did, but we were no longer in a relationship.
So you revisited the relationship, it's fair to say.
I wouldn't say revisit the relationship because it was only sexual at that time.
So sexual relations, but didn't engage in anything outside of sexual relations?
Specifically,
So I'm just trying to be polite. I mean, did you revisit the relationship with Mr. Carney or just have sex or what was it?
I don't understand the question.
What should rephrase the question?
So how many times did you have sexual relations with Mr. Carney after December?
Today, Junior?
How many times did you send text messages to him?
Probably several.
Probably hundreds, right?
Hundreds, bro.
So just getting back to what counsel asked you about, you calling the police the next morning. What time did you call the police?
I don't recall.
Was it, and you didn't call 911, correct?
No, I did not.
So you,
Oops. You're in danger. You don't call 911? That's
you
interesting.
didn't even call the Medfield police, did you?
I spoke with Medfield.
But only after Lieutenant Tully called the Medfield police, right?
Ah.
Was that in your presence?
That the phone call that you called them?
Yep.
Yeah.
So let's just get the timeline right here. You wake up the next morning. What's the first thing you do relative to Mr. Carney and what happened the night before?
I called Detective Brian Tully.
And was that a prearranged plan that you were going to call him after you had him come over?
No.
Did you agree to do that prior to him, Mr. Carney, coming over? So
Lies.
let's rewind a little more. The day before, Lieutenant Detective Tully comes over with a subpoena, correct?
Correct.
And did you know that he was coming to see you?
No, I did not.
When he got to your house, was he alone or was he with anybody?
He was with another detective.
Okay. And what was his name?
I cannot recall.
And did they announce themselves as far as why they were there?
I wasn't home when they arrived.
When did you first see him?
They got there when I was gone. I was picking up a rental car. So I got home and saw them at my front lobby.
And what was the interaction? What did you say? What did he say?
I said hello. They asked if we could talk, if there was somewhere private we could talk. So we went to the, not the business center, but there's a larger common area next to the business center in my office.
And what did you talk about? What was the first thing that was said when you sat down?
I don't recall the first thing that was said.
What do you recall?
I recall that I said I was very nervous about getting involved with the pending case with Aiden, and I was very nervous about if he found out I were to testify, what he would do to retaliate against me.
In terms of testifying, I mean, he'd already been indicted, right, and arraigned.
Correct.
And did they explain to you why they were giving you a subpoena?
Judge, again, I object to just say that we're veering a little bit off of the reason we're here today. I'd ask that we keep it.
Motherfucker!
Thank you. Did they say why they're giving you a subpoena to an investigation that's already been resolved in the grand jury?
They said that I am a witness and that I would need to testify.
They said that that would protect you, didn't they?
No, they didn't.
That if they made you a witness, that would protect you from Mr. Carney, right?
No, absolutely not.
They didn't say that. No,
No.
no officer said that. That's your testimony?
No officer ever said that.
Okay. And once they served you with the subpoena, what did they say about what you were going to testify about?
Any,
Objection relevance, Judge.
In hearsay, Your Honor.
Well, hearsay is admissible, we use to another hearing.
It goes to our defense, Your Honor, that this whole thing's a setup, that she actually had nothing to testify about.
Oh, go ahead.
you told me that there was going to be another grand jury convening and that I would need to testify in front of that grand jury.
Did you ever prep with them for your testimony?
No, because that was the first I learned of the summons.
Okay, so the summons was for the following Wednesday, right?
I don't recall the date,
So it was for the week, it was about a week away, right?
probably.
And you ready to meet with them to discuss your testimony?
That was the first day I got the summons, so I had never prepped with them.
From then until the date, did you ever meet with them to prep your testimony?
Until what date?
The date on the subpoena?
What date are you referring to? If it's anything
date on the
before this
subpoena.
hearing, this incident, I'll allow it. If it's anything after this incident, it's excluded, okay? Next question.
Just trying to catch up to you, Your Honor, sorry, just give me a second.
Anything up until the What was the date she contacted the, 26th? Is that right, counsel?
She contacted the Detective Tully on the 24th.
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 Anything up to the 24th, I don't know, anything else?
So Judge, if I could make an offer of proof, the reason I'm questioning that is because the fact that she was served a subpoena, you would think that if it was a legitimate investigation rather than engineering an
No,
incident.
it's not relevant to this hearing today, this is a civil hearing. It may be relevant to something else in other hearings between the parties, but it's not relevant to this civil hearing.
All right, thank you, Judge. Please know my
Anything
objection.
up to 24th of December.
So on the 24th of December, you received a subpoena. Sorry, on the 22nd, you received a subpoena, correct?
Correct.
All right. And then.
Where do you get these fucking idiots, huh? Where do you get them?
How long after you received the subpoena and the detectives left, were you in touch with Mr. Carney?
I don't recall. I know, I think I spoke with him that night, but I don't recall.
Pull that up. Go to your phone. Let me see it. Let me see this. Let me see the string. See the string of text. Oh, the 23rd. From what she put over. That's enough. The rest of it has to be in person.
If I could just have one moment, please. Ron.
Okay.
So isn't it true?
I love that we can hear that.
Called Mr. Carney at about 4 p.m. on the 22nd.
I love that
Only
we can hear that.
An hour, let's say, plus or minus, after Lieutenant Detective Tully and his partner left.
Could be correct, again, I don't know the exact time.
So you don't remember the details of this, did you?
I remember calling him, but I don't know the exact time.
So it was the same day though, right? It wasn't at 10 o'clock at night, it wasn't dark out, it was the same day, right?
Correct.
Okay, so Tully leaves you a subpoena for a grand jury investigation next week. By the way, did you ever testify, just yes or no?
No, it's being rescheduled.
So it was canceled, so you never testified?
No, I did not.
Okay. Have you ever been back in touch with them about arranging a date?
I have been in touch with them, but we have not figured out a new date yet because of the court dates that I'm currently dealing with Ada now.
So it's just floating out there with no date on it, right? Okay.
Well, he can't outsmart
So
me
you get the
because I'm a
subpoena.
moron.
Did you make any sort of a plan with these detectives to contact Aiden about it?
No,
Did they tell you whether to contact him or not?
I asked them if I was allowed to tell him about it, and they said yes.
So they said yes. They didn't say, gee, well, since you've had so many problems with him, you should probably not contact him. They didn't say anything like that?
No,
They said it was okay to contact him?
they didn't. They said that it was okay if I asked if it was okay if I could, and they said yes.
And they didn't discourage you, did they? They said it was okay?
They said yes.
Did you tell them that you were going to contact him?
No,
So they leave, you get on the phone with Aiden and you tell him what happened, right? And then there was some texting that happened after that?
Yeah.
And just to summarize it, the texting was that you were sorry that you got involved with this. You were sorry that you spied on him for people that are antagonistic to him in the Reed case, and that you just wanted to get out of the whole.
Yeah, one question at a time.
Sure, I'm
One at a
sorry.
time. Yeah, that's
Sorry.
3 questions.
Sure. The gist of your communications with him was that you were sorry for taking the position against him and that you just wanted to get out of it somehow, right?
could you rephrase the question?
Sure. You contacted him and you had a change of heart back to Mr. Carney and you wanted to communicate with him and you told him you were sorry about getting involved with the other side, right?
I told him I was sorry, but it was in relation to something else.
And what was it in relation to?
He was angry that I had been in contact with a woman he is not fond of,
And who's that?
Kate Peter.
And what's the gist of your knowledge of the relationship between Ms. Peter and Mr. Carney?
As far as I know, they have had an ongoing feud over several years. She also has a YouTube show and they go at it with each other. I I don't really, that's all really I know. I know that they argue a lot and they have different court proceedings with each other.
And when you broke up with Mr. Carney near the 9th of December, thereabouts, you then started to give Ms. Peter information? Is that right?
Objection for
Sustain,
relevance.
sustain.
You on that, bro.
If council wants to engage in discovery.
I said sustain.
Thank you, Judge.
So just to get back to this this evening, you invited Mr. Carney over to talk more in person, right?
I sent him the picture of the summons, and that first night, that was a Friday, the 22nd, he said that he was not going to come over, that you, Mr. Riedel, his attorney, had advised him not to. And then he came over the next day, the 23rd. He wanted to talk about it in person.
Okay, so this is very funny. So here she is, what she just testified to. She was saying that she acknowledges the fact that that he declined to go over there because of Bradel advising him not to. It's against his attorney's advice. So you know what I mean? My lawyer said it's not a good idea, so I'm not going over there. She's acknowledging that she knew this. She was aware of this. And then she flips it and says the next day he wanted to come over. Like,
so
not to. And then he came over the next day, the 23rd. He wanted to talk about it in person.
He wanted to talk about it in person. He wanted to talk about it in person.
We agree that you invited him over to do this, right?
I wouldn't say I'd invited him. It was a mutual decision.
It was a mutual decision. That's an invite. Listen, if I say, hey, I want to come over, and you say, yeah, come on over, I'll be here. That's an invitation. That's an invitation. You invited him over. He didn't go over there against your will. He didn't bust down your door. He didn't show up unannounced. You invited him over. I mean, what do you... Wow.
You're lying. And you're a piece of shit.
Exactly, McGruber.
On Friday, I mean, Saturday, sorry. Friday was the first night where he was not, I did invite him over on Friday.
So on 12/22, you sent him a text that says, can you come over tonight?
Yes, I got my days mixed up. Friday, I did invite him over. That's the night he did not come though.
Now, that's different than what your affidavit says, isn't it?
I don't recall.
Did you look at your affidavit in preparation for
I did,
today?
but I do not have it in front of me.
You don't remember that you said that he, words to the effect that he barged in and he demanded to see it and he demanded to come over and interrogate you?
Objection. Yeah, just to note an objection that we were handed text messages and a flash drive about 5 minutes before coming up here. We haven't had
time to review them?
Well, it depends on how much Mr. Bradel's going to get into it.
5 minutes before the hearing starts, Mr. Bailey, you give them.
Judge, I just met these gentlemen this morning. I had no idea they existed.
It was literally, here, this is what I'm going to get into. There's a million text messages. I'll see you up there.
We'll take a recess to allow you to review it. This case will still be. Court, all rise. Court, all rise.
All right.
Court back in session, may it please take final
May I inquire?
Yes, we have. Unfortunately, I had some
issues opening them, but I got the past 10 minutes I was able to review, and I got through about 60%, I'd say.
I mean, just for the record on that, I mean, she's the moving party. She had a summons with my address and phone number, and I think she already had my card before that. If they wanted to look at this stuff before today, they could have reached out to me. And I didn't know they even existed until this morning. So I would just want you to think that I was holding on to something that I could have given to them.
All right, fair.
Thank you.
And continue.
All right, thank you. So, Ms. Catani, we were talking about your texting with Mr. Carney on 12/22, okay? And I have it here, and you can look at it. And if you want me to approach and show you, you can do that. But I'm just going to try to question you on it. But, your memory is in and out. So if you want me to show you, I'll be happy to show you, okay? So at about 2:45 p.m., Mr. Carney reached out to you on the 22nd.
I love
said, hey,
I love the little jab where he says, your memory is in and out. Bradel's awesome, bro.
Sorry I missed your call. Did you watch his arraignment that morning? Do you remember that?
Yes.
Okay, so had you been served with this subpoena by then?
I don't believe so. No, I have not. I did
Okay.
not.
And you mentioned that, you were busy and you said congratulations about the arraignment. Very happy for you, right? And he says thanks. Remember that?
Right.
Then you say to him, I really have to talk to you.
Hey, real quick, sorry to interrupt, folks. So I want to just take a second and thank all the new subs. You guys just got me just over 23,000 subs. So thank you guys. You guys are awesome. I really, 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 really appreciate it. Without further ado.
You, though, about something. I'll be tied up for the next couple hours, though. Remember saying that?
I do.
And that is a reference to meeting with the police?
I believe so.
So you were texting him this right before you went into your meeting with the police?
I was in the main lobby of my complex getting my mail, and when I saw the detectives, and I was simultaneously texting with Aiden.
Yeah, make sure it's not going to be on this stream. I'm going to end this stream and then go on the other one, but make sure to check it out. Now, there's going to be other channels that are going to be streaming it. Brian LTL True Crime, I think, is also streaming it. And if you'd rather watch it over there, cool. But if you choose to watch it over here, at least head over there and give him a like for his coverage of it. A few of us are going to be covering it. So, if you still support those channels and you prefer to watch it here, that's fine. If you prefer to watch it over there, that's fine too, of course. But just give those videos a like if you choose to watch them over here anyway. I would really appreciate it because those are good channels.
And when Aiden asks you about what are you tied up about, right? And you say, don't text me until I call you back, right?
Yes.
And you don't want him to be on the record, so to speak, texting you when you're talking to the police? Is that what that's about?
No.
So you say, don't text me until I call you back. He says, why? And you don't answer him. You just say again, don't call or text.
Shady as fuck.
Right?
Correct.
And why was that?
Because I was going to be meeting with the detectives and I didn't want my phone going off. I wouldn't be able to take any calls while I was meeting.
And then he says, why again? And you don't explain again. You just say, just don't. Right?
Correct.
Hey, man, why can't you just put it on silent, though? You know what I mean? Like, that's shady as fuck. You're saying, hey, don't even, you know what I mean? Like, just turn your phone off. Turn your fucking phone off.
And he thinks that's shady, right? He says back shady.
Of course it's shady. It's clearly shady.
And it was shady, wasn't it?
Define shady.
This whole thing was shady because it was a setup to get Mr.
Objection,
Carney's
Your
power
Honor.
votes, right?
Sustained.
Withdrawn. After he says shady, you invite him over, right?
This is the 22nd we're referring to?
Yep.
Yeah.
You say to him, can you come over tonight? Right?
Yeah.
And that's on the 22nd, right?
Correct.
You're not afraid of him.
At that point, no.
He's never laid a hand on you.
No, we are not.
You invite him over.
Correct.
But your testimony is that you've been broken up since the 9th of December, right?
Correct.
Now you want him to come over.
Correct.
Why'd you want him to come over?
Right.
Discuss the summons.
Why didn't you just text with him or communicate with him? If he was doing all these horrible things to you, putting things on the internet, threatening you, demanding this, demanding that, why not just send him the screenshots, the text messages?
Because I believe it's easier to talk to somebody in person, to have a conversation.
Because you still wanted to use this subpoena to get back together with him, right?
I'm
retarded?
Well, you could have texted, you could have added to the thousands of pages of text, pictures, sexting, everything you've communicated on the Facebook text record, but you chose to use this subpoena to have him come over tonight, in your words, right?
No.
Well, isn't that what you just said? You said, can you come over tonight? Because you wanted to discuss the subpoena,
To
right?
discuss it, I didn't use him to have him come back. I wanted to discuss the subpoena in person.
Right. So I'm just going to echo those words again. You just said, I wanted to discuss the subpoena in person.
Right.
That was
Not
your
he
testimony.
wanted to. You did.
That's different than your affidavit, isn't it?
Mhm.
Where you paint a picture in your affidavit that Mr. Carney is the one that's desperate to.
Objection, Your Honor.
We don't
Yes, Your Honor.
make mistakes. We have happy accidents.
You have a copy of the affidavit?
I do, Your Honor.
Page, start on the bottom of page 4, Your Honor. I messaged Aiden a picture of my summons.
Where are we?
Bottom of page 4, Your Honor. Second line up.
We got a special disliking for these.
One moment, Your Honor.
Clever baby.
Thank you.
So up until then in your affidavit, you were talking about how you were afraid of him revealing information about you, right?
Correct.
And at that point, you had betrayed his trust, right?
Could you rephrase that?
Yeah. You know what betrayed his trust means?
I don't know.
Objection, Your Honor. You can ask the question without harassing her.
You went to the other side.
Without harassing
against
her,
him,
she's
and you
harassing her.
communicated with them,
Come on.
And you fed the police, his rival, Miss Peter, the witnesses that he say are the actual murder conspirators in the Reed case. You were cooperating with them and feeding them information on Mr. Carney, right?
Objection to relevance. Thank you.
So I'm just explaining the betray the trust, Judge.
No, I know. One question at a time, Mr. Gray.
Sure. I'm sorry. So you betrayed his trust.
I don't believe I betrayed his trust. I believe I was venting to Miss Peter. I'm a grown woman and I have a right to have another female friend to vent about my relationship to.
Okay, so we'll leave it there. So then you're afraid that
You're a magnificent cunt.
because you did that he would retaliate, right?
Correct.
And perhaps another word for retaliating or threatening to do something is that he's trying to defend himself from what he found out was your attacks on him. Isn't that another way of putting it?
Objection, Your Honor.
No, Microdots got this and posted it on Twitter. That's where I got it. Microdots is the shit, man.
So you say bottom of page 4, Your Honor. I messaged Aiden a picture of my summons because I thought that if he knew they were forcing me to testify, then he wouldn't retaliate against me. So you had ulterior motives? Then you write, he wanted to meet up to discuss my summons in person. That's a lie, isn't it?
No, it's not.
Your text message is literally, can you come over tonight? Correct?
Are you referring to the 22nd?
Yes.
I did clarify this already. On the 22nd, I asked him to come over.
I think the testimony was it was mutual the next day.
But it's fair to say that you started the notion of having him come in person, right?
Yes, and when he said he would not, at your advice, I said, fine. I have a text message where I said, fine.
You said more
And then
than
the
fine,
next
didn't
day, I did, and then the next day.
you? What else did you say?
Your Honor, can my client testify, please, without the constant interruptions?
You're a
The
little
next day
cunt.
was when he willingly reached out again and wanted to meet up. And I did say it was mutual, because it was.
Well, you didn't say fine when he said that on advice of counsel, I shouldn't go over there. You said.
Also, folks, just remember that I've got Turtleboy's. I mean, clearly this woman's lying, and I've got Turtleboy's defense fund link in the description. Also, along with the Canton 9 defense fund link. So, if you guys are feeling generous, please click on those and help them out with a strong defense.
Said, fine, that's your decision. Then if you're looking out for yourself, I have to look out for myself. I won't be calling Tim. He says, I'm just doing what my lawyer told me to do. And you said, yup, and now I have to get one and listen to mine, and they're going to find out about the baby. That's what you said, right?
Well, those sentences were broken up. I said those first part first, and then I said, and by the way, they're also going to find out about the baby because Detective Tully and the other detective, whose name I can't remember, when they came to my house, they asked me why I was still in communication with Aiden, and I told them it was a personal matter that I did not want to discuss.
So you thought that it would help you at the time to get Aiden to your place if you threatened to tell him that you were going to reveal the existence of a baby.
No, I was warning him, just so you know, they are going to find out because they were asking me questions about why we were still in contact already.
He says who, and you say grand jury. Tully and the other guy asked us, and then it just stops, right?
Correct.
Then that's it for the 22nd. So it's fair to say on the 22nd, you invited him over and it didn't work out, right?
He did not come over, correct?
And that made you mad
No, I did not.
because you threatened to get a lawyer and go after him,
I
right?
threatened to get a lawyer. I said I would have to get a lawyer too.
Then on the 23rd, you initiate contact at around 12:19 p.m. Out of the blue, you contact him and you say to him, I don't deserve you to love me.
False.
Yeah, I approach.
There were many messages before that.
Yeah, I approach.
You sure? We're going to talk about the messages leading up to that, or are we just going to go cherry pick?
Well.
We're just gonna cherry pick.
You said that was the first
This is all I have, Your Honor. This is what and I have an exhibit.
Oh shit, I'm sorry.
This is the text string. There's no other
Well, your
message.
client would have the text, right?
This is it. I have it right here.
Well, apparently he says, counsel is saying there was
I disagree. I don't have anything else.
a text message leading up.
My understanding is that the defendant has a history of manipulating text.
Are you forgetting that the dude is coming from jail? He doesn't have his cell phone with him. You know, like he's only got the screenshots. of the text messages. And then she is catching on to this. She's sitting on the stand listening to this exchange between the attorneys and the judge, and she's catching on to this, which will lead to what she says coming up.
Text messages and chains to make it look like to fit the story that he's telling. Yeah, I have not fully collected her cell phone and reviewed every single message from her phone, but her testimony
She
today.
just testified this is something leading up to that.
Exactly. Thank you.
And
Mr. Bradle, her testimony was it was something leading up to that.
Yeah, sure. And
No question was it the first text message?
Absolutely, Judge. The suggestion that anything's been messed with is completely rejected. It's completely false. And I have an entire string.
Mr. Pollack, have you had a chance to look at this?
called a thread, Bradle. It's called a thread.
Okay. I just haven't seen these ones yet. What
Don't worry, I'm a boomer
Well,
too.
she's the moving party, Judge. So all this stuff about, oh, we're not ready, they're the moving party. They didn't contact me. So what do you want? I mean, the suggestions that we're doing something to hide something are offensive.
They just have a right to look at what you're
Absolutely.
you're with.
Absolutely. And they can look all they want.
Trace the signal.
Your Honor, we'll let her testify to what is true or not regarding the conversation. I haven't had a chance to review this message yet, but
Don't you have them in front of you?
You have the spreadsheet. It's on the spreadsheet.
Thank you. This is not the easiest thing to navigate, Your Honor. So he sent me a spreadsheet. I don't have what he's looking at right now unless there's links.
No, I don't think that Bradle is too nice, honestly. I think that he is classy. I think that he is respectful. But he's going for the jugular. He's not fucking around. He's over here putting it out. He's saying, this is like you said this and fucking now you're saying this bullshit. You know what I mean? Like, but he can't say it like that. That's why I could never be a lawyer. That's one of the reasons I could never be a lawyer. But I'd be like, what the fuck are you trying to pull, lady?
Links in the spreadsheet.
I trust they have their client's phone, so I'm giving them things that are their clients. So.
So you want to approach it with?
So, Judge, I can just lead it.
I think her last statement on the record was that there was something leading up to that.
Sure.
Text message.
Let me try it this way, Judge. There was no texting leading up to that. You may have spoken with them on
No,
the
there were
phone.
many text messages leading up to that one that you just mentioned. Many.
Okay. So,
I can tell
do you have them? Let's see them.
I don't have my phone.
Nice.
In fact, you were subpoenaed.
There
to
it
Bring them
is.
here, and you didn't do that,
I
did
can
you?
testify to the messages.
There it is. You were subpoenaed to bring it here and you didn't. Why not? It's very interesting. Because again, as I was leading up to this before, she was listening to everything that was being said. She knows that her attorney is putting up the argument, we don't have the text messages leading up to this. Why don't we have the text messages leading up to this? It was her attorney who pointed this out. So she catches on and she plays it smart. She's paying this attorney a lot of money. He's paving the road for her to go down. And she's going to say, I don't have my phone with me. She knows that those fucking that those text messages are crazy, insane text messages saying, come over, if you don't do this, blah, 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 making her look just as aggressive, if not more aggressive than him. So basically it boils down to the fact that her text messages leading up to that thread, which is probably already incriminating, is going to verify the nature of that thread that Bradle is trying to expose. So it just boils down to proof that she's lying. If she had her phone and he was like, let's see it, and you were subpoenaed to bring your phone and yet you didn't, but you're trying to prove that this man is a danger to you, why wouldn't you bring your phone for that? So it just boils down to she's lying. She's straight lying.
Can you show us?
I don't have my phone with me right now, but I can testify to
Why not? Why not?
Do you have any proof of it?
There was a lengthy conversation before that message about I don't deserve for you to love me, about with Aiden interrogating me about if I had been in touch with Miss Kate Peter.
Just so we're clear, you're talking about a phone conversation.
No, I am talking about, or might have been on Facebook Messenger. It was in some sort of text, either Facebook Messenger or regular text. I believe it was Facebook Messenger.
And what was said?
Many things. It was a very lengthy conversation where he was accusing me of, he had a documentary that was supposedly to be put out by Netflix, and it was canceled. And he was accusing me of getting it canceled because of information that I gave to Kate Peter.
Did that happen?
No.
Did you give information against him to Kate Peter?
Against him, I spoke about our relationship to Kate in private, venting about our relationship, not supplying her with information to whatever you're doing.
Well, let's try it this way. You gave Miss Kate Peter information that put Mr. Carney in a bad light.
See, and that makes me wonder. Let's talk about that for a second. Why is the Netflix documentary suspended? What was the Netflix documentary about? Because, I mean, if it was about Karen Reed, well, then there's still plenty to cover. There's no reason to back out of it. And you can't sufficiently do a Karen Reed and John O'Keefe documentary on Netflix without talking about Turtleboy. Like you can't. It can't be done. He's too much of an entity in that reality. He's provided too much information. So if the documentary was about him, even still, it's weird that they would back out of it or put it on hold, as Turtleboy later says. But to me, it's weird because, I mean, why not? Why? I mean, just tell the truth. But it should absolutely, I mean, at the very least, they should, if the documentary was just about him and they didn't want to like make more of a fuss about him, okay, I guess I understand that. But if that's the case and you put this on hold because of what, his image, because certain things, they became aware of certain things, then why not just do a documentary on the Karen Reed, John O'Keefe case? And just keep him and his information featured. Because it's too important of a case. And there's just no way that it's not going to like be one of the most watched Netflix documentaries, because I follow a lot of crime cases and I've never dealt with anything like this. This has all of the crazy twists and turns that any Netflix documentary of any case would. So Netflix is dropping the ball. That's my opinion on that. Netflix is absolutely dropping the ball if they're putting this on hold, because and I'm saying this because I really want them to do it, because I feel like that is one of the strongest ways to make people aware of a bad situation, and people will start asking if that's happening in their town. And that's a good thing. And that's an important thing. So I really hope Netflix reconsiders. I mean, I know people are like, fuck Netflix then. You know what I mean? I get that. I'm saying Netflix is still a very, very strong source of a very strong platform to provide information. That would be great. You know, but if it's a Netflix produced show, it's not a question of someone doing it and then someone picking it up. I don't know if Netflix backed out, or I don't know if the people who are making the documentary and pitched it to Netflix are backing out, but I don't know the details. But Netflix is dropping the ball for sure. If that's the case. But hopefully, I mean, there's other large platforms out there, you know. There's HBO, HBO has a great history of bringing awareness via documentaries. I mean, they put out the Paradise Lost series, which led to the release of 3 innocent young men. The West Memphis 3. That was HBO. So hopefully, I mean, because that's where I'm at. I don't give a shit who it is. What I care about is the exposure. What I care about is the exposure of the case so that other Americans will look and be like, I hope this shit isn't happening in my town. That's what I'm really hoping for.
I suppose so.
So you're communicating with Mr. Carney on texting through a phone and through Facebook Messenger
This night,
on the
on
23rd.
the 23rd, I can't recall. I know the majority of it was on Messenger.
So that's a yes.
Your Honor, are we going to get to something relevant to the evening of December 23rd?
So it's fair to say that in the Facebook Messenger items, that's where you admit that you've been talking to other people on the other side against
The
Mr.
Facebook
Carney.
Messenger messages were, the majority of them were Aiden trying to make me admit that I'd been talking to Kate. And then after a lengthy period of time and him badgering me about talking to Kate, I finally got very upset and we had a phone conversation. And this was after he had sent me a link that I opened, which contained confidential, very sensitive information about my children that are non-public documents that he admitted to getting by using another attorney friend login.
You see, she talks about how it's, you know, it makes him seem crazy because he's concerned about, and makes him seem controlling because he's concerned about her befriending someone who absolutely despises him and seems to dedicate all of her free time to destroying him. So it's interesting to watch her and get away with that clear manipulative tactic of provocation. She is absolutely manipulatively trying to provoke him by doing that. I mean, that's something that there's no way that you can prove. It's just you see it and you go, dude, I've seen that shit before. This is fucked up. Because it's not a coincidence that the minute that they break up, she goes after and decides to be buddy-buddy with the person that's trying to destroy him. It's not, there's no way to not look at that, in my opinion, as at least possibly being absolutely malicious. So I could see him going on the defense, as I talked about earlier. I could see him absolutely going on the defense. I'm not saying that I approve of his methods. I'm saying I get it. I get that he got freaked out by this action of hers. And I truly believe, in my heart of hearts, I believe that it was a deliberate manipulative tactic of provocation, meaning that she deliberately did this in order to provoke and elicit a reaction from him. That is exactly what I believe.
So let me just ask you another question, because this isn't a situation where you're allowed to just give a narrative unless the court says so. So I'd like to just ask you the next question.
Nice. You see what I mean? Like Bradle is, he's in control of this cross-examination.
You apologize to him, right?
I believe so.
You said, I'm sorry this all happened, right?
Yes.
And Mr. Carney is very gracious about it, isn't he?
I would have to see the messages.
So So I'll
Judge, I've lost track of what date we're in and what the relevance is here. I'd object to this line of questioning.
That's what happens when you come into a case the morning of the case, Judge, so it's not my problem.
I'm just asking that he clarify his questions. I'm getting lost.
Before you examine a witness on a document.
You see the gaslighting? Like his questions are perfectly valid. But this guy's going, yeah, dude, I'm lost. He's playing some bullshit game. Like a YouTube drama channel panelist is what her attorney's doing. Just that straight gaslighting tactic where he's just like, I'm having trouble even understanding. You're just babbling over there. What are you saying? And trying to manipulate the judge's perception of Bradel's presentation of his case and his line of questioning. Hoodie, welcome. Thank you for joining.
So, Judge, I've given counsel all these. I've mentioned that it's 12:23. So all they have to do is go to 12:23, and they'll have the same screen that I have. 12:23. In Facebook messages. And counsel can, certainly address whatever parts they want. And I don't want to, we've taken up a lot of the court's time. I'm just trying to cut to the chase. And Mr. Carney says to you, and this is along the lines of my suggestion, he's being very gracious. He says, and if you confess to me that you've done all this, I would forgive you. I know you're expecting me to be the person Kate told you is me. And years ago I may have been, but I'm not that person anymore. I'm not vengeful. I don't care how badly you wronged me. It hurt the part about Allison and my mom becoming public. It hurt when Chrissy did it too, but life is too short for grudges.
Your Honor, objection again to relevance.
It's totally relevant.
Judge,
it's relevant because he's proving that he did not have ill will towards her. It proves he's like, I don't know what you think of me. I don't know what Kate Peters told you about me, but I'm not vengeful. I may have been a mean guy back in the day, but I'm not that guy anymore. Life is too short to be bitter and shitty. That's a direct contrast to the picture that she is painting of him to the court. So it's absolutely relevant.
If I may, she's saying that he's hostile and angry and she's scared of him. And he's saying, I forgive you, it's okay.
Your Honor, this
things
is
that are inconsistent with that.
related to the incident of abuse. This is all stuff that's happened before the incident.
This is her luring him over that. He says, it's really okay if you want to tell me the truth. We can talk about it and I won't hold it against you. I don't want to be your enemy. And that's when you said, I'm sorry, this has all happened, right?
Correct.
He's gracious, he's conciliatory, he's not threatening. There's no reason to be afraid of Mr. Carney, right?
There was, because he did threaten me with private confidential documents about my children. Just because you say, I'm going to release these documents, that's not a threat, doesn't mean it's not a threat.
But if he is in need of defending himself against your betrayal.
I mean, it depends on how you look at it. Because if you look at it from my perspective, like I said, it is a malicious attempt to provoke or elicit a response from him by directly befriending the person who's trying to destroy him more than anyone else as soon as you break up. So if you look at it from that perspective, and I'm not saying I approve of it. I'm saying it's more of an insurance policy than it is a threat. So I wouldn't call it a threat. I would say, okay, well, to protect myself, I can. and this is how. So don't fuck with me, and I won't fuck with you. And again, I'm not saying that I approve of it. I'm saying that's what I'm reading out of this.
Isn't he entitled to that?
To publish documents he has no legal access to
If
on the
they
internet for
destroy
all
your
his-
credibility, it certainly is, isn't it?
No, it's illegal for him to get those documents in the first place.
Where's it illegal?
He used
Objection,
another-
Judge.
See, because
she's not an attorney, she doesn't know what's.
Because that's what it boils down to. Again, if he's threatening her with things that are absolutely legal in response to her actions, how's he breaking the law? Now, this is a question of, now, what ends up happening here, spoiler alert, everybody already knows anyway, that the judge ends up denying, or sorry, approving her request for a restraining order for, I think, up to a year. Now, okay, you know what I mean? It's a win, in my opinion, because, and I'm not trying to speak for Turtleboy at all. I would never do that. But based on what I'm assessing, my assessment is based on the recording that we hear. That's a win. He's just trying to get the fuck away from her. Great. But that means it goes both ways. It's a two-way street. That means you can't fucking contact me. Leave me the fuck alone. You know what I mean? You want me to leave you alone? Awesome. But that means you got to leave me the fuck alone. Okay, cool. To me, that's just one less fly in his face as far as everything else that he's dealing with.
Legal and not legal.
So then I
The trouble is whether or not this is used somehow in his criminal case. The trouble is whether or not he broke the law and can get out of this criminal case that he's wrapped up in. That's the trouble. So I think it's important to have all this stuff on the record. And so this is a win. Hold on. Probot saying it's not a win if she makes up a story because she is jealous, psychological, deranged woman. It's a win if it's disproven. And the judge gets to hear all the evidence. Everything that's happening is on the record. She's caught on lies on the stand. And that's on the record. This stuff is now on the record. This stuff can be referenced in his criminal case. So the question is whether or not he's incarcerated because he broke the law. If he could prove, if Bradel can prove that he actually didn't break the law, and the person accusing him of breaking the law is completely full of shit, well, then that helps his criminal case, which is not this court here. It's his criminal court. This is a civil matter.
Move to strike the testimony now. So
As I understand, only lawyers have access to mass courts.
Yes, Your Honor. So just for the record on that, Judge, I think there's a bit of a conflation there, okay? In the sense that mass courts wouldn't have sealed or impounded or confidential documents on it. Mass courts is just a way for certain people that are allowed to get into it to access the court dockets, but it's really just a reflection of what you would get when you went to the clerk's office. And so I don't want the court, I know the court certainly knows this, but I just want to suggest for the record that I think the witness is conflating access to public documents through mass courts with going to the courthouse and getting them when you would absolutely be entitled to do so. And Mr. Carney is an investigative journalist who's very good at what he does. And he would, when he's attacked by someone, he has every right, as we all do, to go and get documents that he could use to defend himself. And that's what's happening here. Because she happens to know something about a journalist having access to mass courts, and he's certainly not the only journalist probably in this room that has access to mass courts.
Is it your argument that he went to her home against your advice?
Yeah,
to
see,
get information?
because if Bradel can prove here that, I mean, all she's claiming is that he didn't threaten me physically, but he threatened me by releasing documents that he legally obtained. He threatened me he threatened me with being a journalist. That's not illegal. So if he could prove that that's all that's all he ever threatened her with, because that's what she's claiming. She's sitting on the stand right now testifying. Yeah. And the only physical claim is that he pushed her onto a couch because she had notes that belonged to him or something. So, I mean, you're never going to convince a jury that makes him a dangerous person. But the dangerous person that he claims to be, like I said, he claims it. He owns it. He because he's legally within his rights to be that dangerous. Have your opinions about how moral it is and how, scrupulous it is. Have your opinions on that, but it's not illegal.
In his defense against this witness?
No, Your Honor. No, I'm saying that I'm addressing her statement that she's afraid of him because of this stuff. She created the situation by betraying his trust, by going to these people and spilling all this invective about him to them to use against him. So she's claiming that she's afraid of him, Your Honor, and she's here inviting him to the house and apologizing, and Mr. Carney is acting in the text messages completely inconsistent with the idea that he's a threatening, horrible person when he's like, I forgive you, it's okay, tell the truth. These are the things in their text stream that he's telling her. Completely contradicts, we contend, her affidavit. Thank you. So you said, I'm sorry this has all happened. And then he says, do you want to talk about it? I promise I won't be mad at you. Right?
Correct.
That's a great question, Olivia. I mean, not now, but in his case, in his criminal case, sure. I believe, I don't think that he'll be called as a witness in this civil case because she got granted, it's a done deal. She got granted the restraining order.
So
That's
now
done.
on the 23rd,
but
at 12:19,
he'll be called to testify.
And for whatever reason, you guys switch back to texting, right?
Can you repeat that?
In the criminal case, for sure.
At 12:19 p.m. on 12:23, you're now texting, and that's where you say to him, the first text of the day is, I don't deserve you to love me, right?
I can't recall if we had switched to text at that point. I'd have to see.
Do you want to see it? Sure.
See, she's a bad liar, bro.
You have that, counsel?
Yes. Thank you.
You don't sit there and pretend like the shit doesn't exist when it does. You know what I mean? He's showing it to you. You think that guy's sitting up there just making shit up?
So we agree that the first text of the day is 12:19 p.m. You say to him, I don't deserve you to love me, right?
Correct, but just to clarify, it's 12:19 a.m. Like we had been talking up until midnight, so it's not like a new thread. We had just continued our conversation
So
from Messenger.
I can show it to you again, but the text stream says 12:19 p.m. Does that refresh your memory at all?
Can I see it one more time? I'm sorry, I didn't look at the.
Perfectly fine.
I disagree, Halfhammer.
Right.
They're related, but nobody here's forgetting about the Reed case. Nobody here's forgetting. We're going to go over there, as a matter of fact, in 1 hour. But nobody's forgetting about the Reed case. Everybody here understands that this is why we're all here. But we also understand that this is connected. This is related, 100%.
Oh, yes, okay. There were similar messages when I got forward.
So we agree it's 12:19 p.m., right?
Yes, correct.
I don't deserve you to love me, and then you say, I'm so sorry, right?
Correct.
And then he responds, maybe not, meaning maybe you don't deserve to love him, but I do. I believe in forgiveness, and holding on to hate makes me a worse person. I cannot help but feel empathy for you. I don't expect you to understand. I believe that you are truly sorry. I believe you would take it back if you could. Right?
Correct.
Meaning the betrayal.
I think that's subjective, but sure.
So then you text back a long paragraph, right?
I don't know.
For texting anyway, as far as texting goes, about 10 lines. You say, in response to him saying, I believe you are truly sorry, I believe you take it back, you say, I am and I would. You are sorry and you would take it back, right?
Not necessarily half
Now,
hammer.
why would you take back what you did with respect to Kate Peter and the police and everything else?
Objection, relevance.
I have loved you and still do, right? That's what you said.
I mean, it depends on how you look at it.
I know there's no excuse.
It depends on how you look at it, half hammer, because you're saying, in other words, the Reed case will finish, yet the sham offspring case will still go on even when the Reed case is over and it blows. I feel you. I do. And you're saying it won't be over when the Reed case is over. It doesn't matter, because you have to understand, even though this is a sham, we can't allow it to be minimized just because it's not a murder case. Okay. It's not it's a sham because it shouldn't be happening. But whether or not it goes on past the Reed case or whatever, it really is irrelevant as far as I'm concerned, because what Turtleboy is in jail for and what he's being charged with and what the Canton 9 are being charged with is extremely important. To me, it's very, very, very important. And it's just as important for different reasons as far as I'm concerned. Because these people are being charged with a crime and they're being punished as a way to protest and for protesting for your right. So it's very important that we don't allow the law to lock you up for speaking your opinions. I mean, this is a big thing for freedom of the press. It's a major First Amendment issue. So it's really important. What Turtleboy is doing by sitting in jail for simply exercising his First Amendment rights, this is a big deal. And we need to be aware of it. And we need to be in his corner as far as this is concerned. Like him or not, the fact of the matter is he's in jail when he shouldn't be. And if that precedent is set, all of your freedoms are in danger.
I was hurt and angry and also very scared and felt desperate. I'm not a demon. You say some things, and if counsel wants to put the rest of it in, they can certainly do it, but I'm just going to go down in the interest of time to halfway down the message. Everything that's going on.
I feel you, half hammer. Again, you're saying, can we all agree that it needs to be fought at all costs? Yes, of course. Right. We can agree. But the thing is again, we have to remember why it's related to the Reed case, because he's being locked up. His rights, we have to remember why Turtleboy's rights are being violated. The rights that you and I all have. The reason why is because they're trying to shut him up. They are abusing their power to shut him up about people who are clearly railroading what seems to be absolutely an innocent woman. So what's happening to Turtleboy is unjust for them because due to the motive of the Norfolk DA's office. The motive behind them doing this is to shut him up because he's asking too many questions and he's exposing too much information. And that right there goes into Karen Reed's innocence. That right there goes into why her case shouldn't even be being tried.
Scared me, and I felt like I have a thumb drive, Judge. I'm going to offer, yes. Everything that's going on scared me, and I felt like I had no one to turn to or confide in or even vent to. I know now I made a big mistake talking to her, meaning Kate Peter.
I don't think you are, Half Hammer.
But my feelings were always real. I'm so sorry.
What's up,
and then
Scott?
you say something to get him over to your house, right?
I don't know.
You said, but I think we should save anything else for in person.
Correct.
So you gave him some, and now you're saying, come on over for the rest, right?
I'm saying it's easier to speak about it in person instead of typing long text messages.
And then he said, agreed in person. He agreed with your invitation.
Her invitation. That is extremely different than what her affidavit says. Because she was trying to stay away from him. But here, she's pressuring him to come over. Right after she met up with Tully and Mello. Okay, lady.
Correct?
Correct.
You're the first person on the 23rd, just like you were the first person on the 22nd, to say, come over.
Incorrect. We had a phone conversation, I believe, prior to this message.
And when was that?
I just said I believe it was prior to this text message.
And Mr. Carney's demeanor and graciousness were displayed in those conversations as well, weren't they?
I wouldn't say so.
Okay, so there's no memorial of these conversations, correct?
Not that I'm aware of.
And you didn't bring your phone, even though you got the subpoena on Friday, right?
No, I don't have my phone with me.
So we don't have any way to look at or test your claim on that, right?
Your Honor, she's testifying about a telephone conversation.
A telephone conversation that's very relevant.
And these phone conversations were how many, first of all?
I don't recall.
And when were they?
I just said I believe it was prior to that text message.
See, I love this bullshit.
After it's fair.
I love this bullshit right here. The evidence dictates that she's the abuser. So I'm actually defending victims of domestic violence because what she's doing is making it more dangerous for victims because she's lying and she's not a victim. I'm going to say that one more time. She's lying and she's not a victim. So therefore, I am up here defending victims of domestic violence because she is giving victims a bad name. And it's just as important to call someone like her out as it is to call out somebody who is a domestic violence abuser. So you don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
It's fair to say that after all of the discussion back and forth on the phone, is your testimony now, on Facebook Messenger and on texting, the only records we have are you inviting him over on the 22nd, and he says, no, advice of counsel. And then you, on the 23rd, the only thing we have to look at is you inviting him over, but I think we should save anything else for in person, right?
I can't recall because I don't have the messages, like my phone in front of me.
Yeah, I approach her.
So the has been asked and answered.
But she just said that she couldn't recall, Judge. Thank you, Judge. I'm just going to invite your attention to the bottom, but I think we should save anything.
Right, but I thought you asked prior to this if there were more conversations about him coming over. You're not going to scroll down?
Now, half hammer, I got to be honest with you. If I hadn't heard the recording and what she said about her kids and what she was going to do, I probably wouldn't feel as safe about saying everything that I'm saying. I'd still be touching this with kid gloves. But after hearing that recording, hearing Bradel tear her apart on the stand, I am convinced that she's a liar and someone who is making things more difficult for victims to be heard, real victims to be heard and get help when needed.
My question is, in terms of the written record, all we have.
But you didn't scroll down so I could see the written. Okay.
We'll get to that. But I'm just,
Counsel, but she has to ask you questions after.
we'll get to the rest of it, but I'm just saying, up until now, on the 23rd.
I think they do play the recording at
record
some
from
point.
The texting and Facebook is you invite them.
We
both
won't get
days
to go over
tomorrow,
this whole
right?
thing today.
The second day, as I said, it was a mutual decision.
It was a mutual decision. So the written record just shows that you're talking about it, and Mr. Carney hasn't said anything about I want to come over.
He did on the phone.
He did on the phone. The part of the voluminous record that we don't have
Right.
and we can't verify, right?
Right. Exactly. Get her, Bradel.
It's kind of argumentative. This is
I'll withdraw the question, Your Honor. So it's fair to say that the written record that we have shows only you inviting him over. Is that a fair statement?
I don't think that's.
I mean-
You can't scroll down and see the other messages prior to that.
You can. Well,
so the only proof we have, the only solid proof we have is you inviting him over, is what you're verifying to the court right now. Got it.
You're the moving party now. So you have
But
your
you're asking me, I'm
information.
giving you my answer. That's my answer.
So-
I don't know what you want me to say. I don't know because I can't see them.
Isn't it true that in your affidavit, you say that you want him to leave you alone and not bother you, right?
Which date are we referring to? Because there were several times after we broke up where I did ask him to leave me alone and stop talking about me on his live shows, and I just wanted to move on with
Quit
my
it.
life. But then when he wouldn't, we went back and forth. So
So
there's a lot of different conversations.
sure. So if that's the state of affairs, then you get a subpoena, then you're sorry, then you love him, then you don't deserve to be loved by him. You invite him over on the 22nd and you invite him over on the 23rd. All that's correct, right?
Except the last part, we said it was a mutual decision on the 23rd, and I was very
Get the
scared
fuck out of my
after he
face with that
threatened me
mutual
with those
decision shit.
confidential documents about my children and releasing them. So yes, I did want to talk to him in person, and I did say I was sorry because I wanted to say anything he wanted me to hear to prevent him from releasing those documents.
But that's not what you say, is it? You say things
Oops.
like, I don't deserve you to love me, meaning I love you, right?
I said anything at that point
Okay, so let's get to that. You're saying anything that comes to mind at this point?
about the interaction with Kate Peter, how he was angry about that and wanted me to apologize.
So what you're saying is that you're a person that will say untruths as they see, as you
Objection,
see
Your Honor.
fit,
This is
to
about-
fit the particular situation.
Sustained.
So was it not true what you said?
This guy's such a fucking weasel.
That you
Look at his
love
body
him,
language.
You don't deserve. He doesn't deserve you, or I don't
This
deserve
guy
you to love
sucks.
me.
Her lawyer
I do
sucks,
not
dude.
believe
I
that
can't
did
stand this
anything
fucking
wrong
guy.
in talking to Kate Peter.
I'm not asking what you believe.
But
I'm
saying,
asking.
as far as apologizing to him for that part, I did not believe I had to say that I was sorry.
So is it fair to say that you're manipulating him here?
No. I think I was being manipulated by being threatened with when it comes to my children. And private information about my children being threatened to have that released.
But don't
Like
you
any
think
mother,
someone
I think.
deserves to try to defend themselves when they're betrayed and they believe that it's unfair and not accurate?
Objection, Judge.
Oi, cunt!
You're a
I
magnificent.
just have one more piece of it.
Damn, we can't hear that. They turned it down.
So when you got the subpoena, you used the subpoena to have him come over. Is that a fair statement?
I don't believe I used it to have him come over. It was a mutual.
Wow.
Well, that was the
I asked him.
reason for him to come over, right? Was to look at the subpoena and look at the messages between yourself and
You serious?
Peter with respect to the betrayal and with any messages between you and Tully and Mella,
I
right?
did not know before he came over that he was going to demand to go through my phone and my messages.
That's the whole purpose of you inviting him over, was that you wanted him to help you get out of it. Isn't that right?
Incorrect.
You said it was a mistake, right?
With regards to what?
Cooperating with Kate, Peter, and the people that,
You're using the word cooperate, but I was speaking, inventing to
giving them information, giving his rivals,
Peter is not-
people that want to destroy him, information. Isn't that a betrayal? Can we just encapsulate it in one word?
Objection, relevance.
Just say.
So you said that you wanted to undo it, right?
Undo what?
You said that you wish you could take it back,
Correct.
right? And the reason you wish you could take it back was because it was a betrayal.
Those are your words, not mine.
I'm asking if that's accurate.
I don't believe I betrayed him.
Nobody cares what you
So-
believe, bro.
Did you lie to him
About what?
about being pregnant?
No.
So you were pregnant from Mr. Carney. Is that your
Right,
testimony?
Charlie? Pop, you're gonna be famous. Wait, here it is. Here it is. Stop.
Did you ever produce any sort of proof of that?
Yes.
Did you send him a picture of a pregnancy test?
Oof.
You've been looking at counsel. Do you
Oof.
need to
Because I
speak
don't
with
believe I
counsel?
should have to talk about
Oof.
my personal medical information, but
So you sent Mr. Carney a picture of a pregnancy test that was from May of 2023.
What?
I don't know what you're talking about.
The pregnancy test picture was a screenshot of a pregnancy test from well before you were ever with Mr. Carney. Isn't that correct?
Objection, Judge, relevance.
It's relevant to this line of question.
So Judge, the offer of proof is that Ms. Kitani sent Mr. Carney a picture of a pregnancy test because Mr. Carney didn't believe that she was pregnant and that she was using the pregnancy to manipulate him into coming over, not leaving, staying with her, and manipulating him all sorts of ways with respect to.
What was this test?
So,
Text message sent.
sure. So the text message was sent, if I could just have one moment, Judge, 12/8. It was sent to him.
The day before they broke up.
Yes, 12/8. And it is a simple thing to do. If you look at, 12/9.
Here it comes.
If you look at the metadata of the photograph, which shows when it was made, it was, and anyone can just click on it and see it. And it was made in May of 2020. to Mr. Carney that these tests showed she was pregnant by him, when in fact these were old tests from May of 2023. So, Ms. Gattani, isn't it true that you used a photograph of old pregnancy tests from May 2023 to trick Mr. Carney into thinking you were pregnant by him in November, December of 2023?
No, I did not try to trick him. No,
Did you do that or not?
no, I did not try to trick him.
My question is, did you present those photographs to Mr.
Yes.
Carney?
I presented the photograph.
Okay. So we agree that you deceived him.
No.
You presented photographs from May of 2023 showing that there was a positive pregnancy test, right?
I don't know what you're talking about.
You don't know what I'm talking about. Well, where did you get these pregnancy tests? Do you need a moment to talk to counsel? Judge, I have no objection. She's trying to speak with counsel. That's fine with me.
No, I mean, if you need a moment, otherwise you get, okay. But if we just step out, Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor.
May I inquire? So, Ms. Gattani, when we left off, you had mentioned that the photographs of the pregnancy test that you proffered over to Mr. Carney were from May of 2023. Is that right?
Can you repeat that?
The
You heard him.
photographs that you
Stop
sent
it.
to Mr. Carney showing a positive pregnancy test after he had been inquiring for proof were not responsive proof to Mr. Carney's being involved with that baby, right?
Your question is what?
You took
Not
a
his.
screenshot from May of 2023 of pregnancy tests, and you sent it to Mr. Carney, right?
No.
So it's your testimony that the screenshot that you sent to Mr. Carney,
Motherfucker.
was not a screenshot from May of 2023?
No.
It was not a screenshot of a pregnancy test from a pregnancy that Mr. Carney never had anything to do with?
No.
That's your testimony.
Objection, Your Honor.
No.
Your Honor, I'm having a hard time finding what metadata that you're
No.
talking about.
Well, I think she's testified that 3 times.
Yeah.
So, next question, please.
And we're over an hour into testimony and we haven't even gotten to that event that the actual restraining order is about.
It's on the-
So
it's
to
on
the
the
extent,
It's on the spreadsheet.
so to the
Next
extent.
question, please.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Now,
Okay, smartass. Let's see
in
what this
response
mystery's
to
all
you
about.
saying that you were pregnant to Mr. Carney, Mr. Carney said that he wanted to take responsibility, get custody, and be involved if you were in fact pregnant, right?
Well, his response has changed quite a few times over the course of the time that we spoke about my pregnancy.
Mr. Cradle, what's the relevance of this line of questioning? I know I've been giving you a lot of leeway here,
Sure.
but I think we have to get up to.
Because it directly contradicts her affidavit, Your Honor, that he was
Right.
hostile and angry to her when, and again, it's sort of like
We're all here because of the affidavit. It's perfectly relevant. What is the relevance? I don't understand. Dude, he's saying that the whole reason, the whole basis in which you got this temporary restraining order is a fucking lie. That basis being her affidavit. So it's a goddamn lie, and he's proving that it's a lie. And so it's relevant.
like the other one where I said that he was gracious instead of angry and hostile to her. Here, she's saying that she's pregnant and she's already implied to this court that he's kind of a deadbeat about it or just is angry about it or hostile. And that's what contributes to the hostility against her in this domestic case. And it probably falls under the umbrella of being able to present a full picture of the relationship, Your Honor. So I would ask just for a little bit more leeway on it.
Next question.
Thank you, Your Honor. So this counsel is 22nd of December.
On the Facebook Messenger.
On Facebook Messenger. Yeah. You say to him relative to this topic of him wanting to be involved with the pregnancy, you say, what part of I don't want you involved don't you get? And don't worry, you will see in due time. And he says, it doesn't matter if you want me involved, Lindsay. If I was the father of your child, I would have legal custodial rights.
Yeah.
Do you remember that exchange?
I don't like to see that.
Yeah, it must
Let's
be the
give Jeff
vodka
judgment
in the
relevance
water
grounds.
bottle.
May I approach? I can't answer your question.
No. Wait.
Did you read that correctly?
I read the text message correctly.
Did I? I'm sorry. Did I read it correctly?
Yeah.
Do you want to take a look because I'm going to question you about the rest of it?
You know, little counsel, I'll review whatever you submitted to evidence. If there's a thumb drive with respect to text messages back and forth between the parties, if the counsel stipulates that, I'll review those.
If we can speed this process up, we'd stipulate
Yeah,
to.
move along.
Sure, Judge. I gave a copy of the thumb drive to counsel this morning, and
I
have
kind of
a
get
copy for the court.
like her attorney's doing his job. Like I don't like him because he's whiny. His approach to this is like, oh my god, like that's not very lawyery, bro. You know what I mean? Like he's just kind of weaselly in that way. That's the only thing I don't like about him. But at the same time, I mean, he also, you got to understand, like he probably already knows that they're going to extend this order. He already knows. He knows that the judge is going to take the safe route. It doesn't matter what he goes over. It doesn't matter how long they stay there. The judge is going to be like, just to be on the safe side, we're going to grant the order. So he feels like, whatever, dude. I got a date at Denny's, and I'm trying to get out of here, bro.
No objection if in the sense that we'll move this thing along.
And I gave counsel a list of everything that's on here, and I'll give the same list to Madam Clerk. So, Judge, I'm just wrapping this up right now. So, you said, what part of I don't want you involved don't you get? Meaning, leave me alone and I'm going to do it myself, right?
Correct.
And he says, well, if I'm the father, I have custodial rights. Words to that effect, right?
Correct.
And then you say, no, you won't, because I'll say it's someone else's. Right?
Correct.
That's what you said back to him.
Correct.
So let's unpack that for a minute. You told him that you would lie about who the father was, right?
I did say that.
Okay. And so
Wow.
you realize that
Okay.
if Mr. Carney were to press his custodial rights, that would be in a probate court or a family court, right?
Correct.
So what you're saying is that you were going to go into a probate or family court and say it was someone else's, right?
Objection, that's not what she was saying, Judge.
The text message will speak for itself.
Sure. And I'm asking about her.
I think we got a super chat.
Again.
I think we got a super chat. I think we got a super chat. Super chat. Super chat. Super chat. I think we got a super chat.
Portray a different scenario.
Thank
in
you, Cheryl
court
Keller.
If there was a
Appreciate it.
custodial fight over the baby, right?
Nothing about court ever came up.
But that was your state of mind when you said that, right?
No, I wasn't thinking about court. I just told him.
Well, he said he wanted custody or custodial rights, right?
Correct.
And that gets litigated where?
In court.
Judge, objection.
That gets litigated in court. right?
Hello.
Say next question.
and you tried to defeat any suggestion that he might have custodial rights by saying that you were gonna lie, right?
I said what I said in the message, correct?
And is there anywhere else that we haven't gotten to here today where you've done a similar thing
Similar thing in terms of what,
in terms of lying?
I don't know, I haven't seen every.
Objection, Judge, she never admitted to lying.
So it's fair to say that at the time the issue of custodial rights came up, you made a decision that suited you and your needs to lie.
Anything further?
Nothing further.
Read the record.
Ms. Catani, you were pregnant in December of 2023, and it was the defendant's child?
Yes.
Okay, and after the incident, you were frightened by
What incident?
after the incident on December 23rd, thank you, Your Honor, you were frightened by the defendant, is that right?
Objection to the form, Judge. His
I'm going to sustain the objection. Let me rephrase the question.
Okay. How did you feel after December 23rd in regards to the defendant?
Extremely scared of him.
And that's because he has such a wide reach, is that right?
Objection to the form.
No.
That's one of the reasons.
And because he was physical with you, is that right?
Correct.
And just downstairs a moment ago, you got a telephone call, is that right?
Correct.
And that was from your children's school, is that right?
Correct.
Objection. I don't know where we're going with this.
Yeah.
Quiet, please. Judges on the bench.
Yeah, dude, this is fucking insane, bro.
Nothing further.
It's like,
Call Aiden Carter.
right. Exactly. What?
Is that right?
Objection.
After the incident, you were frightened
What incident?
after the incident on December 23rd, thank you, Your Honor, you were frightened by the defendant, is that right?
Objection to the form, Judge. His
I'm going to sustain the objection. Let me rephrase the question.
Okay. How did you feel after December 23rd in regards to the defendant?
Extremely scared of him.
And that's because he has such a wide reach, is that right?
Objection to the form.
No.
That's one of the reasons.
And because he was physical with you, is that right?
Correct.
And just downstairs a moment ago, you got a telephone call, is that right?
Oops.
And that was
Oops.
from your children's school, is that right?
Correct.
Objection.
Now, I'm not a physicist. Okay? Not a scientist by any means, but I feel like it's next to impossible to receive a phone call when you don't have your phone with you, if not blatantly impossible. Because it's not like her child's school called her attorney's phone. They would call her phone, wouldn't they? But she didn't have her phone with her, but just downstairs, you received a phone call. That's her own attorney outing her. Her own attorney just outed her, caught her on a lie, just caught her on perjury. I don't have my phone with me. Bullshit. You just got a phone call from your child's school or daycare, whatever. Interesting.
I don't know where we're going with this.
Yeah.
Quiet, please.
And
There was a suggestion.
I do.
What do you do for a living?
Independent journalist and content creator.
And how long have you been so employed?
10 years.
What did you do before that?
I was a high school teacher in Early Childhood Regional School District
How long?
for 11 years.
And just a brief bit about your educational background.
I graduated from the University of Massachusetts. I have certificates in education and postgraduate, and that's about it.
Obviously, we're here today because this plaintiff, Ms. Catani, has sought a restraining order against you, implicating the issue of whether there's a risk of you inflicting imminent serious bodily harm on her, correct?
Correct.
And have you ever laid a hand on her in any sort of an assaultive way?
Never.
When did you meet her?
First time I met her was September 15th in person. She messaged me on September 4th, the first time we spoke.
September 4th?
Yeah, we spoke on September 4th, met on September 4th.
So she reached out to you?
That's correct.
And what was the nature of that?
She was hitting on me, flirting with me, telling me she wanted to have sex. And so I agreed to meet with her for sex on September 15th, after Karen reached out.
So there was a suggestion from her about a sexual relationship?
Oh, yes,
And did you take her up on that?
I did.
When was the first time that happened?
September 15th.
And was there an ongoing relationship with Ms. Gattani beyond a sexual one?
We went out for a few dates. I did have feelings for her, but I feel deceived at this point. But certainly at the time, I had definitely had feelings for Ms. Gattani.
And at some point, the notion of her being pregnant came up, is that right?
That's correct.
And tell the court a little bit about that.
She told me on November 9th that she was pregnant and that there's something to the effect of, don't worry about it, I'll take care of it. Before I even initiated my opinion on that, she suggested that she was going to terminate the pregnancy. And later on, her feelings started to change, and she said that she was against abortion and she didn't want to have one. And I had said to her that whatever you want, it's up to you. It's not my decision, it's your decision. And eventually, she agreed that she was going to she made an appointment to get an abortion on November 27th. That's what she told me she was. And she wanted me to sleep over her house on November 26th so that I could drive her to the clinic in Brookline. So I did. And then in the morning of the 27th, she said, I don't want you to come. I'm going to do this alone. And I said, okay. So I went to a Panera Bread in Worcester, and I waited there for her in case she changed her mind and she needed a ride home. She texted me at 9:30 a picture from what she purported to be the abortion clinic, saying she had second thoughts.
Let me just stop you right there.
Yeah.
So as an investigative journalist, you work with digital photographs and you use them all the time, right?
Correct.
All right. What were you able to find out with respect to the photograph from the Brookline clinic?
We were able to find out that the picture she sent me was from December of 2021. The metadata on it said.
All right. And did you talk to her about that?
At the time, I was still under the impression that she was actually at the clinic. She was deceiving me. And she told me that she was having second thoughts. I spoke to her on the phone. I said, you can do what you want, but the fact of the matter is that we live an hour away from each other, so only one of us can have custody.
And what was her reaction to that?
She hung up the phone and said she was going to do it. And then
do what?
Get the abortion.
Okay. And then what happened?
And then, so I spent the rest of the day in the Panera Bread, about 6 hours, texting her, are you okay? Do you need anything? Do you need a ride home? And I said, it's okay if you didn't do it, whatever you want, I'm here to support you. I called her several times that night, and I went to bed on the night of the 27th having no idea whatsoever if she was pregnant or not, or if she had gotten an abortion, because she was essentially just messing with my head. And so I had no idea.
Had you ever asked her for proof of this?
That she got an abortion?
Or that she was pregnant?
I have.
And did you ever get anything that was definitive proof?
No, everything she sent me never had dates on it. And she has 4 children, and she's had multiple abortions in the past. So
Objection, Your Honor.
Stay, that's her. Okay. She has 4 children. So is my belief that those pictures could have been from any of her 4 children. They didn't have a date on them. I had no idea where they were from. Now that we've analyzed the metadata on the pictures, we know that none of them, they're all from before I met her.
Objection, Your Honor. He's purporting to be some kind of digital
The rules
analyst.
of evidence don't apply here, Your Honor. It's within this ambit of this.
That digital analyst.
So, Mr. Carney, just moving on in your history of your relationship with Ms. Catani, have you ever threatened her or tried to manipulate her decision on what to do with the alleged pregnancy?
Absolutely not.
Okay. And with respect to
you got it.
I think we got a
your
super
involvement in
dad.
alleged
I
pregnancy,
think we
what
got
did
a
you
super dad. Super dad. Super dad. Super dad. Dad, 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 dad. I think we got a super dad. I think we got a super dad.
There you go. Heavy Holler 617. You're welcome. Thank you so much.
What did you want to do if it was true?
I was happy it was her decision because I am conflicted on the issue of abortion. And it was something I told her that I struggled with. And so quite frankly, I was relieved that it wasn't my decision to make, that it's a woman's right to choose.
When he says that, I know exactly what he means. I'm conflicted. You know what I mean? But the reason why I've come to terms that the reason why I'm conflicted on that issue is because I'm not a woman. How the fuck am I supposed to know? You know what I mean? Like, I don't think men should be making decisions on what women do with their bodies. That's an issue that women need to resolve amongst themselves, and us as men need to just respect it. That's my opinion anyway. No strays. Remember, fellas, anytime a woman DMs you, first just look in the mirror and say, this gotta be a setup. And she's a fat man from Nigeria. Oh man, thank you, No Strays. I appreciate it. Okay, so this is a good time to call it. We'll go over the rest of this probably tomorrow. Now I'm gonna end this stream, but make sure that after this is over in 15 minutes, head over to the other stream that I have set up, same channel, the other stream I have set up, because we're going to go over the Karen Reed hearing. Hopefully. That's if I could log on to the Zoom and whatever. But again, now if you want to watch it here, I'm grateful and I appreciate it. Thank you so much. That's why I'm going to stream it. But also, like I said, there are other good channels such as LTL True Crime Podcast that are streaming it. So at least even if you want to watch it here, go over there and give it a like. Some good channels that are going to be covering it. So if you see anybody else covering it and they're good channels, just make sure to give them a like, because a few people are going to be streaming this. So thank you so much. And those of you that are new here, that newly subscribed, I appreciate it. Again, you guys got me over 23,000 subs during this stream. So I'm grateful, seriously. So I appreciate all you guys, all your support. And I'll see you guys over at the Karen Reed stream scheduled for 2:30 Eastern time. And we will do this again very, very soon, my friends.